Guess who's Bizak? Y'all know what it is?
Yes, sir.
You see these four on your screen? It can't be anything but the Commanders Kings blessing you with some new content. New shit. What's going on, fellas?
What up? What up? What up?
That DJ Clue was good. Was good.
What's good with y'all, man? Man, wish we were meeting under better circumstances, but this feels like another death, right? Like the end of the season, and then the Eagles, the team that eliminated you, winning it all. Let me start by asking all of y'all, did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Yes, and it was the dominance of the Philadelphia Eagles. It did feel like watching a funeral. It felt like watching a funeral because they made a dynasty look like the DC Defenders in front of the whole world. What, 140 million, 200 million people? You can't even argue it. You can't hate on it. You can't throw salt on it. The score should have been much worse than 40-22. And oh man, it was rough for me.
Did you see how the Chiefs highlights literally zero?
They started
0-0. It starts
0-34. Starts the Mahomes highlight tape. Nasty work.
Absolutely. They could have just punted on that. We didn't even doing no highlights from the Super Bowl,
like
bro.
The only pulse and heartbeat I had during the game was the halftime show because I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan.
Yeah.
The game, like I got multiple group chats. Fam, nobody's talking about the game. Like that game, there's nothing to take from it unless you're a Philly fan or a Kansas City fan. The game was
watching me by the fourth quarter.
Bro, I ain't even gonna hold you, man. That was the most stunning Super Bowl I've ever watched because
ever.
I've seen blowouts before, many of them, right? Somebody brought up because I said it's the most dominant and shocking, stunning Super Bowl that I've ever watched, and they was like, well, 2013 Broncos and Seahawks, and I'm like, yeah, that was an ass whooping as well, but the difference is that wasn't a two-time defending Super Bowl champion trying to three-peat. That wasn't Patrick Mahomes. That was Peyton Manning. And I get it. That year the Broncos had set the NFL record for most points scored in an NFL season by an offense, but Peyton has shown the ability to choke in those types of environments and those types of situations. We never seen that from Patrick Mahomes. That was the most he ever trailed by in a single game in his NFL career. He's never been down by that much. I would even venture to say that that's probably the first time he's been shut out in a half, and they were shut out for the first three quarters.
That was disgusting.
So I'm pretty sure these are all first for him in his career. We've never seen anything like this before, So it was jarring. It was mind-boggling. The thing that was really funny to me was because I was on social media the whole game because the game was garbage, right? Like you said, the halftime show was it for me. Like there was nothing else entertaining about the Super Bowl other than the halftime show. So I'm on social media. I got me a new phone. You couldn't tell me nothing. So I'm on my new phone on social media and seeing all of these Commanders fans talk about, we would have did the same thing. So I was like, stop your shit. Okay. Stop your shit.
They are the clear superior in this league, and we can hate it, but it's the truth. They just dominated a team going for the first ever three-peat in NFL history. The game was not competitive for 1 second.
No, it wasn't. And after that pick six, it was over.
Yeah, I had a weird feeling Jahan was going to do something too. I was like, Jahan's going to get like a 20-yard random
early too.
Yeah, his shit is always early.
Yeah.
Would it have made it worse if he would have scored?
He was so close to
he thought he did. He thought he had gotten in. He thought he had gotten in, and so many Commanders fans was hot when they thought he had gotten in. Right. They was pissed, like, oh, and now Jahan has to score in the Super Bowl. I'm like, why do you care? Let this man be blissful. He didn't ask to be traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Like we did that. He didn't ask for that. So,
and I'm not mad at the trade. So you know what I'm
saying? Me either, man. I am mad that they got Cooper DeJean out of it though.
Oh God,
he's a beast. But
they killing these boys. We got white corners catching pick sixes in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Jalen Hurts dotting up everything. Oh my God, it was like our worst nightmare coming into fruition in front of our eyes.
So with that said, anybody want to add anything to that? There's just the game itself before we get into one of the conversations we'll have tonight. Anybody got anything to add?
I mean, I felt like it was a great recruiting pitch for my college team. That's about it. Shouts out to Jalen Hurts for even saying it himself. I'll take that's the only benefit from that game at all for me.
It's just we gotta break some of these guys up on that team. Like somebody's got to sign Zach Bond, somebody's got to sign Milton, somebody's got to sign. They got to break.
Even take Kenneth Gainwell from them. Somebody take it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna lose. That's what happens when you win the Super Bowl. You're gonna lose some of your guys, but they're gonna be strategic in the ones they let walk away. The last time they got to the Super Bowl, they let TJ Edwards and Kaiser White leave, and it hurt them. It hurt them defensively. Yeah. I don't think they're letting Zach Bond, who just was an All-Pro, leave. Now, this is a very deep. I've been told, I don't know this, but I've been told this is a super deep defensive line draft class.
Defensive tackle, especially, yeah.
So they may let Milton Williams walk. I mean, he's really good. Like he's really good. I talked about Josh Sweat as being a target for us potentially. I think he's going to be a little bit outside of our price range potentially, because I think he could command anywhere from 18 to 20 million, which isn't bad. That's good money. But I don't know if for like Josh Sweat is cool, but if you're going to pay like top dollar, like Danielle Hunter got what 2-year. 51 million, I think.
Something crazy.
Something to that effect.
He's produced, so I mean,
right, like exactly. Like he's a double-digit sack getter every year. Like you're willing to pay that kind of money. I think Josh Sweat could get 20 mil based off of what he did in the Super Bowl, and he's a good player. I think he had 7.5 sacks or something like that this year. He's a good player, but I don't know if we're looking for a good player. We already got one of those in Dorrance Armstrong. We don't need like another good player on the opposite side of him.
Superb player.
Right. We need a
game changer.
A game wrecker. So this game was really interesting from a lot of different perspectives. We've talked about the sheer brutality that this game was and dominance. But did you glean anything from this game as a Commanders fan watching it saying, hey, this is what we have to do, or this is what we need to improve on? This is a team we're going to have to see twice. And more likely than not, if we want to go where ultimately we want to go, which is the Super Bowl now, like it's crazy saying that because once upon a time, we just wanted to make the playoffs. We just wanted to win a playoff game. We just wanted to get to the NFC Championship game. Now it's like, no, I want to go to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
We played this Eagles team twice. Was there anything that
three times?
Well, you have to play them twice, and we may have to play them 3 times to get where we want to go, right?
Every year,
right?
Yes,
because they're young. This is the part I've been saying. Like they're young, they're not going away.
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
I don't know why people keep saying in my chat like this was their last stop. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Everyone's on a damn rookie contract or paid already.
Right? They're not.
Like I hate to give Howie credit. He's aggressive. He's like 49 years old. He's still young. He's
hot shot.
Good point.
It's not going away. So you want them to go away, you got to put them away yourself, right? So my question to you guys: did you watching this game? Did you say, okay, well, we definitely got to do this. We got to do that. Maybe need 1 or 2 of these. Need 1 of these for sure. What were some of your biggest takeaways watching this if you want to compete with that team on a yearly basis?
I'll jump out there first because there's one big thing that stood out more than anything else in this game to me. These boys had Mahomes in the gulag without sending blitzes. They are getting home with 4 down rushers and Jalen Carter neutralized. The best player on that unit was neutralized, and they still got to Patrick all damn day. Jalen Hunt, Josh Sweat, Milton Wood, they wreak havoc up front. If you can get home without sending linebackers, safeties, and extra rushers, what can a team do with you? You already dictate the time of possession based on how your offense plays football. You're getting consistent pressure and sitting back in cover 4. How do you beat that? You got to find a way to beat that. You got to find a counter to that, because when you throw up a percentage and say Vic Fangio has blitzed 0.0% of the time today, yet I'm watching Patrick Mahomes run for his damn life the whole day. He looked like he was stuck in the Thriller video throughout for 60 minutes straight. That's something to me, and that's spooky.
Now, what was even crazier, to add to your point, like a lot of those times he was pressured to sack, there was like 2 of them. Like they were sitting 4 at 5, and 2 people were getting through a lot of the times. It was insane.
Yeah.
I think they went the entire game without ever blitzing because they realized, why blitz? Like, to your point, cover 4. What can you do against that if we can get to you with 4? Hey, shouts out to Jayden too, because I mean, I don't know if our offensive line is better than the Chiefs' offensive line. Jayden did a way better job against that same Eagles defense that Pat Mahomes and those guys did. But it's the trenches, man. That game was won. It was started, finished, won, lost in the trenches, point blank, period. Because Pat Mahomes had his moments of looking human, but it all started from him being flustered from constant pressure. He could just never get into his mode. Like, even some of the mental mistakes he was making, you could just tell he kind of had like this internal clock. Like, I got to get rid of this right now, even when the pressure wasn't even there yet. So the trench is big time. I feel like that's like the number one answer. But to even add to it, I feel like we do need another weapon opposite of Terry. Because every time they tried to focus on Devonta, here goes A.J. Brown. Every time they focused on A.J. Brown, here goes Devonta. And it was just and I feel like that game was a good example of like, yeah, Marshawn Lattimore does need to be better. But I feel like that was also more of just A.J. Brown was really good, more so than A.J. Brown was really bad. I just feel like you get another guy that the defense, they can't focus on Terry. They can't lean coverage towards Terry all of the time. I feel like that's going to be huge for us as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the trenches, like you guys said. I mean, force some fumbles, and ball is life for them, man. I mean, we saw it against us. Like they force turnovers. They don't drop interceptions. They punch the ball out. They force Pat to make a fumble. He threw 2 picks. Cooper turned it into an interception. They take advantage of their opportunities. That's something that Joey Jr. talked about all season. We didn't do that enough. We started to do it towards the end of the season, but their defense gets pressure, man. And like you guys said, with the front 4, so it just shows we got to be aggressive, man. Like Myles Garrett being available. If he does become available and the Browns are willing to trade him, you got to make a move. Khalil Mack, one of those guys. You got to make an upgrade on the defensive line. You got to make an upgrade in the trenches on the defensive line. The offensive line did a heck of a job too. Like Jalen I'm not going to take anything away from Jalen Hurts, but he does have like the perfect situation. Great offensive line, great receivers. Saquon didn't have his greatest game in the world. Like the Chiefs did a great job against them, but they just have so much talent. So just bridging that gap of talent. Is Adams got his workout cut for him. He probably won't be able to do it in one off season, but man, they got a lot of talent around him just to make things a lot easier for Jalen Hurts. So he did a good job. I'll give him his credit. I'll tip my cap to him again. But yeah, it comes down to, man, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter. I hate to hype the Eagles up, but man, like they get it done. The Vic Fangio, man, he's not going to leave. I don't think he wants a head coaching job. That's what I've heard, because I think he just likes the role that he's in. How old is he? What, like 60, 70 years old, something like that?
He don't strike me as a head coach.
Yeah, he just wants he wants to stay in that role. So even him, he may be there for the next 2 or 3 years playing that simple defense, just making it easier for guys. So that's another thing too. But yeah, like you said, Rico, Jayden did a great job. If it wasn't for the fumbles, then we definitely would have been in it for sure. But yeah, the trenches is something we gotta bridge that gap.
It's crazy y'all hit on all 3. So I made a list of things to bridge that gap of how we can compete with Philadelphia, which we're already close to doing that now, right? Like it's funny because the score in this Super Bowl doesn't reflect the actual game, and the score in our game doesn't reflect the game itself, right? That was an 11-point game with us on the move. It was. I've said this multiple times to Eagles fans. They don't want to hear it, which is fine. I get it. You scored 55 points. I get it. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to argue with you on that. But it was the same exact spot we were in Week 16. We were down 27-13 or 27-14 with the ball. He had that 4th and 11 run, right, to end the third quarter, and that's the same exact spot. Down 2 scores on the move in Eagles territory. We scored a touchdown there, and obviously we went from there. Same exact spot we were in when Austin Eckler fumbled. I think it was like 2 minutes left in the third quarter. We were on the move, down 2 scores. We had scored on the last possession. The defense just got to stop. So I get it. I understand they won 55-23. So it doesn't feel like we were close, but We've beaten them before. Guess what? The Eagles won 16 out of their last 17 games. Guess who the one loss was? You know what I mean? Like, I talked about all of the things y'all just said. Every last one of them. Like, you guys hit them right on the head. I would expand upon each of them, though. Like, I actually tweeted out on X, like, I hope people, respect what Jayden did even more against these. I think I called them clowns. The Eagles fans come out of woodworks, right?
They probably kicked you back.
Yeah. I loved it though. I loved it. Right? I like poking the Eagles' nest, so to speak. But I think people need to respect, because Jayden was under siege too when we played them in the championship game, but he didn't make the mistake, and he took what they were giving him. And one of the things I noticed about Mahomes in this game, he was running in the sacks.
Yep.
He was so spooked. He was just trying to escape up the A and B gaps, and they were waiting on him. Oh, okay, go ahead.
He looked like Howell out there.
Yeah, he did. That's exactly what Sam was doing a couple of years ago. He was like, literally, as soon as he saw any sort of pressure or he felt any kind of pressure, he just stepped up right into the sack. And you're like, bro, come on. Seriously? That's what we're doing? And I talked about the trenches being, and so remember, we had this conversation last week, and I was like, y'all, for me, it's the offensive line. I want more weapons, all of this stuff, but it starts up front, both sides, because we can't stop the run effectively enough, and we don't get enough pressure with just 4, because like you said, they playing quarter shell, right? Like, what are you gonna do when they dropping 7 in the coverage, and they're very disciplined, right? They space well defensively. They take guys through zone. You know what I'm saying? You rarely see a guy just running wide open against the Eagles in zone coverage. Like, you got to throw a dot. You got to be on time if you're going to complete passes against them, because they're very sound. They don't give up things over the top. And so that took me to my next point, which was, we not only need a guy opposite of Terry, but we need somebody who can get yards after the catch. Because when you play in Philadelphia, you're not getting shots over the top, right? You got to take this 4-yard completion and you got to turn it into a 14-yard completion.
Yep.
Right? You got to take this. Terry did it, right? Terry caught a slant, broke a tackle, and ran for a touchdown. Like, that's what you got to do against Philadelphia, because you're not going to get that shot over the top. They may give you single coverage.
That's what your boy Diami was trying to do.
Right, exactly. He was trying to put 18 tackles and got stripped of the football.
Like, reverse the field like Heisman Reggie Bush.
I'm like, what do we got going on here? But that's what you got to do against Philadelphia. I wasn't mad at him for trying. I was mad at him for not securing the rock. Okay, you got 2 dudes on your back. At some point, it's over, bro. Right? Just get out. And he kept trying to fight. So that's something I think we need. Like, when I start thinking about the targets and the guys that could be available, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, I started leaning towards your guy, Rio, Garrett Wilson, a little bit, because that's the kind of guy that could take a 5-yard catch, turn it into a 55-yard touchdown. But I still want a big receiver, man. I think you still need size, and and so we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then the last thing was, what Ed hit on, and I talked about turnovers, right? We don't create enough turnovers. And I think the 2 things you got to do is you got to protect the football, and you got to create turnovers, extra possessions. And we got the protecting the football thing down pat, except for when we play Philadelphia for some reason, right? We have that down pat. The problem is we don't generate turnovers, which, like Ed said, we started to a little bit late in the season. Like, the postseason, 1 turnover. Like, we didn't turn it over at all against Tampa. We generated 1 turnover. Without that 1 turnover, we lose that game. I think we can all agree. You don't have that Baker Mayfield, and we didn't even force that turnover. That was them being careless, but that was a great recovery by Bobby Wagner. The next week, we went off, right? 5 turnovers that's crazy. And we needed every single one of them except for the one at the end by Jeremy Chin, right? That's the only one that we didn't have to win. All the rest of them, you don't get that forced fumble by Dorrance Armstrong, we probably lose the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't realize, like, we really finna win this game until we got the pick 6 by Quan Martin. And then the dagger was the one, and then the one before half by Mikey, you were like, okay, we up 10 at half. This is crazy. And then the second Mikey was like, all right, let's go put him away. And we did. You know what I'm saying? To not create any turnovers in that championship game and give it away, 4 times, but 3 when the game was still in the balance, and not getting out 1 back. You remember the Week 16 game? We turned it over 5 times But we got one back, and that one pick saved us in that
everything.
game. It changed the entire game, right? One turnover. So that's the thing we got to be better at, man, is we got to be better at generating turnovers. Ball is life. We got to really reinforce that in the offseason and get guys that look to take it away. Those were my biggest takeaways watching this Eagles game, was like, you got to get somebody that can create something out of nothing. Like Jayden has to work way too hard for us to function at a high level when you're playing a defense like that. We need a guy that can take some of that off of his plate.
We need a safety with ball tracking. We need a true natural free safety somewhere on that football field.
Please.
I don't think you're gonna get it because they love Quan Martin, and I think they're gonna bring back Jeremy Chin.
Draft, maybe you could find somebody to throw in that mix, bro. You could plug and play them, bro. The Eagles got 2 rookie DBs out there looking all world in the Super Bowl. You can find one, man.
It sounds good. Mm-hmm. I would love them to. Mm-hmm. We'll see if they do it, because I think we're gonna. I think we're the 3 positions I expect us to 4 attack aggressively in free agency. If Brandon Coleman, if they are done with that experiment. I'm not sure they're done with that experiment.
I don't think so either.
I'm not sure if they're done with that experiment. So if they are done with that experiment, you attack left tackle, kick him inside the left guard, or at least let him compete with Nick Allegretti. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to attack corner because I think Mooney Ward is a guy that they know very well and I think they're comfortable with. So I do think they're going to attack corner. I think they're going to attack edge rusher, right? Bring in a veteran edge rusher. I'm not telling you that they're still not going to draft one in in the draft, right? And same with corner. I'm not telling you they're not. We don't have anything at corner. Corner is much like the receiver position. We got 2 guys under contract at the receiver position.
Yep.
I think we have 2 at corner as well, right? If I'm not mistaken, Mikey Samuel and Marshawn
Lattimore. Was it?
Yeah,
that's
right?
Last year.
So I would assume that they're going to get busy. I still think they should bring back Noah Igbenogany, but
as like CB4.
Yes, exactly. Like he should not.
Agreed.
He's a backup, right? Like he's good insurance. I call him the general, right? He ain't Progressive. He ain't Geico. He ain't State Farm. He ain't Allstate, but he's the general. Good backup, right?
New Wild Goose. He ain't gonna be our new Wild Goose. Our new Phil Castro.
No, don't put that on him. Don't put that on him.
He's better than him. I'm just playing.
Don't put that on him.
But that kind of role, like we don't need to depend on you type of beat.
Let us do that.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna attack those positions and receiver, obviously. I think they're going to get a veteran because you can't rely on a rookie to be your number 2. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they have to attack receiver with aggression. I don't know what you're going to come up because I'm telling y'all right now, I think T. Higgins is going to end up being franchise tag in Cincinnati. It feels so my boy lives in Ohio. He lives right on the outskirts of Cincinnati. So he's plugged in. And he's like, Joe Burrow is doing everything in his power to get them to keep him. And Joe's even said, I'll restructure my deal, right?
Even politicking. I was watching.
I did see that.
Hard.
Yeah.
Row, he was out there like,
hard.
Hendrickson and Higgins here. Like,
he's not playing, bro. And think about it. The franchise tag for him was 21 last year. It's just 26 this year. It's not like it kicks up to 32 million or something crazy. He's getting way more than that on the free agent market. He's getting way more than 26. I think it's one or 2 ways that this is going to end. Either they're going to franchise tag him and trade him like the Chiefs did L'Jarius Sneed, or they're going to franchise tag him with no intent to trade him. They're trying to run it back one more time with him because they know they got to pay Jamar next year. They got to make a decision on Trey Hendrickson next year. So I think, feel like we can do this one more time and get away with it. So he might not be on the board, but that takes me to the next conversation. On my channel, I did a ranking of potential wide receiver. I already know what you're going to say, Rio, but I still want you to rank them anyway. I wanted to rank the options that could be available for the Commanders at wide receiver. All right. Most of these dudes you would have to trade for, but all of them have like this mystery cloud of, the future hanging around them where there's real conversation about these guys getting traded. All right. So your 5 options are Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Garrett Wilson, T. Higgins, which is the only one you wouldn't have to trade for, and DK Metcalf.
You know what's a fun conversation, Lou? Take off all the trade candidate receivers and just go from the free agent crop. That's when it starts to get messy, but that's a real conversation.
Yeah.
What if none of the trade options are receivers we get? Where do we pivot to at that point? That's a conversation we need to have too.
That's when I'm trying to find your address, because that's when Nick Westbrook-a.k.a. becomes an option, and I'm trying to find you. I'm trying to find your doorstep. Right? I'm trying to find your doorstep. So when you open the front door, all the smoke is waiting on you immediately on site. So, hey, look, man, that's when it gets scary, bro. That's when the scary hours start. It gets really spooky out there when you start taking away options like T. Higgins and all of these trade candidates, and you're staring at like Chris Godwin coming off of surgery and Nick Westbrook-a.k.a. and Stephon Diggs coming off surgery. Like it gets really, really spooky out there.
But there's a real world where we don't trade for any of these guys, and that is the pick of the litter, though. So at some point we're gonna have to face that realization.
Hey, how sick would you be if Darius Slayton is our number 2 receiver going into the season?
Not gonna hold you, Darius Slayton, Emeka Egbuka, and Terry. You can sell me that. You can sell me that.
Yeah, no, I can't give it Darius. He's not terrible, but we got to do better than that. That's all I'm
Darius Slayton could be our 4th option at receiver. He can't be. It's right. He could be Diami. Our new Diami, right? If they done with Diami, he could be the new one. But
I'm just trying to brace everybody, including my brothers here right now, my 3 brothers, Rico and Lou. There is a world where we do not get any of these big name receivers, and we are picking from the crop of Darius Slayton, Nick Westbrook-a.k.a., Wash, Stephon Diggs, all of that. That's a real world we could be living in.
Absolutely. Now, so to play devil's advocate, Debo's done in San Francisco. That's either a trade or a release. He's not playing for the San Francisco 49ers ever again. He's done. So he'll be available. Now, do you want him? Because I think he would want us. That's close to home for him. He's a South Carolina kid. Like, I obviously he has Adam Peters ties. I would have to sit him down and be like, same thing the Jets pretty much did with Aaron Rodgers. Like, hey, you want to be here? You got to quit Pat McAfee. If you want to be here, that podcast can't exist during the season, bro. Like, I don't want any podcasters during the season. You do whatever you want in the off season. That's your time.
We're gonna get a podcaster over here eventually, man.
I don't think that's what they want, man, and I don't want it either. I'm gonna be honest.
Compete with us.
Like, let Michael Parsons have that podcast and shit during the season. Like, the last thing you want is dirty laundry being aired out, because in order to have a podcast, it's got to be entertaining. People want to hear the reels. We don't want you talking about like surface level shit. We want you to dive in, like, man, that was a tough loss, and you talking about it, and you might let some shit slip. Or like in the case of Michael Parsons, he's always saying some stuff that's controversial, like his
family business.
Like he'd be like, yo, Jayden Daniels, like he cold, bro. Like, I ain't never seen a rookie this cold, but we not his fans.
They don't want to hear that.
Right. They mad, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear that shit, but that's the reals. So he's getting released, and Cooper Kupp is not playing for the Rams again either. So those 2 are going to be available. Like, worst case scenario, those 2 will be available. Okay. So I truly believe you'll have a shot at, and I'll take either one of those over anything we got right now. So, you know what I'm saying? So I don't. Now those aren't my. So let's go back to the initial premise. Those are the 5 options. Do y'all remember the 5, or do I need to repeat them?
I remember the 5.
All right. Rank them in terms, and forget about, I want you to strip them down to their bare skills. I don't want you thinking about what you got to give up trade wise, how much you got to pay them, how old, like you can factor in age, all that stuff if you like, go ahead. But just forget about all the, ancillary stuff that they can figure out, right? Pay, draft capital you got to give up. Just based off of fit here, opposite of Terry and what you're looking for within the confines of this offense. rank those receivers as to how you would pursue them.
Who jumping out there first? Who jumping out there first?
My list is already out there, so I'm
Listen,
gonna
I
let
got
y'all have it.
mine.
I'll go from
I got-
bottom to the bottom. The last.
Yeah. Start from 5 and go to 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the wide back, Debo Samuel was last for me. Just I don't think he fits the culture as far as punching a long snapper and doing stuff like that, and just complaining about touches. Like we don't need that here. And the game that he complained about touches was before the Bills game. He had a drop in that game. He had 2 big drops against the Rams.
That's right.
He looks out of shape. You saw him in the Eagles jersey where he had the beer belly, he had the keg belly. So I mean, I think he'll get in shape by the time the season starts, but I just don't think he fits the culture here right now. I think we need a separator. He doesn't separate. I think 2 years ago, he would have been great as far as, handing the ball off, kind of like a way better version of Curtis Samuel at that time. But right now, for what he's done, like Juwan Jennings had a better season than him. Brandon Ayuk, before he got hurt, had a better year than him. He was literally like the fourth, like Ricky Pearsall was having a better, was a better option for them at the time throughout up and down throughout the season when Ricky Pearsall was healthy after being shot. So yeah, Debo, I just don't think he's that guy. Right, that he used to be, honestly, and just the culture-wise, I don't think he really fits. But I get it. Him and Adam Peters have a great relationship. Cooper Kupp is 4th, so the 2 guys that are available via trade.
Oh, wait, hold on. I think I know how I want to do this.
Yeah,
we're gonna go around the panel and give each number. All right. So you 5 for you was Debo.
Mm-hmm.
5 for you, Rio, is who?
Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is my number 5. If you asked me this question 2 years ago, he would be much higher on the list. I don't think pound for pound. I think pound for pound on this list, he's the worst current player at the wide receiver position. I don't think he offers much at this point of his career, but hands and short area catches every now and then. He's going to offer you no yards after catch, and that's something that's almost a prerequisite for me to be spending capital on. And he just looks like a shell of himself physically, man. Like his body, his release package on his routes don't even look the same. I'm seeing him getting clamped by nobody cornerbacks. Number 5 for me is Cooper Kupp.
Ditto. Rico, give me 5 and 4, and then we'll go to 4s for the rest of y'all.
Bet. This one's honestly out of the 5, picking between who's 5 and 4 was the most difficult for me. I'm probably gonna lean towards Debo for 5, just off of because with Cooper, I mean, now he's a super shell of himself, and with Debo being younger, maybe Cliff Kingsbury can figure it out. But my problem is Kupp had a fairly down year. Now, granted, he did have random no-name corners locking him up at times, but you can kind of look at it like injuries and say, if Zach Ertz can come over here and play 20 full games. And, off of the injury-riddled pass he had, maybe you can see Cooper Kupp, whatever Dan Quinn not having them practice on Wednesdays, the way that they practice, whatever it takes,
right.
you can turn Cooper Kupp into the new Zach Ertz, maybe. My problem with Debo Samuel is that he was there, he just wasn't productive, and so that does concern me. I feel like ceiling-wise, Debo obviously offers more. But if we're playing it safe, I'll probably have Debo as my 5. I'll have Cooper Kupp as our 4 because Terry's going to get a lot of the attention. Jayden's already going to demand a lot of attention. I'm also projecting that we do whatever it takes, maybe in the first round, to get like Amari and Hampton. You got to focus on him. I think Cooper Kupp would just constantly be open in the middle with teams having to worry about Zach Ertz as well. So I just feel like he's the safer bet. That's why that's the only reason I would put him at 4 above Debo.
Don't
right
get me
now.
started on Omari and Hampton. I got him.
I
got a draft crush on that guy.
But we need that. We need that.
All right, Rio, give me your 4, and then Ed, you give me your 4 after that.
I'm gonna go with 4 Debo Samuel. I'm opening my mind up to it because I think we wind up with this person. Like I'm convincing myself of it because I really think we're gonna find a way to acquire Debo. So I want a pure receiver to be the second option in our passing game. Yeah. And I think Debo is like, when he's his best, he's like souped up Curtis Samuel, Kurtco. Yeah. He's like souped up Kurtco, put him in the backfield, jet sweeps, line him up on the inside, line him up on the outside. I think Cliff Kingsbury could go crazy with a weapon like that if Debo is in top shape, if Debo is motivated, and he decides to bring his hands to DC. that could be great for us. Also, if the call, like, what is his cost for this year? $15 million? Are you gonna have to? Go talk to him about his money? That's nothing. That $15 million cap.
No, not for a number 2 receiver.
Yeah,
no.
that's nothing. But
cap space.
It depends what Debo you're getting. Yeah, I know my boy Dre, my boy Chef Dre, he cooks for Debo. So he be having inside information about this thing. If I could get Debo in tip-top shape, motivated, and in the building, we could have something there. I'm just more conventional receiver on the outside boundary. That's more of what I'm going for. But Debo's number 4 for me.
Hey, Chef, y'all didn't say he had a beer belly. That was it. Don't beat us up, Chef. We don't want no smoke, bro. Hey, who's your number 4?
For me, it's Cooper Kupp, man. I think as a number 2, he could be productive. But he's really a number 3 at this point. He definitely has regressed. Even in a bad year, he has 700 yards. Yeah, we probably would have to give him those vet rest days like Zach Ertz got and Eckler got throughout the season. That's probably what you got to do. It's pretty close though. The only reason why I put Debo at 5 is just because of the complaining about the targets and just the out of shape stuff. If it wasn't for that, then I probably would put him over Cooper. But Cooper's he's going to be a constant leader. I've seen people be like, "Oh my gosh, he can show Luke McCaffrey the ropes of the white stuff like that." I see the benefit of that.
So racist, Loki.
It's racist. It's gotta be racist.
I see, he's going to take away snaps from Luke McCaffrey at the same time. He's reliable. He's going to move the chain. He's going to catch the football, get open. He's going to give you that 10-yard catch. So that's why I have Cooper above Debo at this point.
I said I'm gonna show you the ropes of white receiver.
Hey, look, man. I show you how to do this, son. hey, go ahead and drop your 3 while you at it, man. Who's your 3rd?
3. So it was Garrett, DK. Who's the other one? Oh, T. Higgins. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So DK is 3 for me. I just like I put the other guys above DK just because I want a route runner. I just want a guy that can get open, and the other 2 can get open better than DK. But I love the physicality, and he's younger, way younger than Debo and Cooper. So DK would be a great addition. The physicality would be the best part about it. Somebody that can break tackles and just be that mean guy, and especially against the Eagles. I think him as a number 2 against the Eagles. I think he would be a great number 2 against the Eagles. I don't think they would be able to hold him against while they're trying to stop Terry, trying to match the physicality of DK. I think he would be perfect. The perfect kryptonite for the Eagles. So I got him number 3.
So my number 4 was Cooper, was Debo Samuel. And he literally, I said I wanted a guy that could take a 5-yard pass and turn it, that's who Debo Samuel is, right? A guy that turns into a running back with the football in his hands. How effective is he? And to Rio's point, and this is why he's so low on my list, is I want a real receiver. I don't want a guy that is like a Swiss Army knife opposite of Terry. He could be the 3rd option, right? You can be the 3rd option as a Swiss Army knife. Terry needs a real receiver opposite of him, if you ask me. So number 3 for you, Rio.
It's what's funny too when we talk about Debo, that man's had 1 season over 900 yards in his career. I think we all overlooked that part. He has very bare minimum wide receiver production.
What he would tell you is because they don't use him in that way, right? Because he's getting carries and they're throwing the ball to him behind the line of scrimmage, so it counts as a run, but it's actually a 55-yard touchdown that he scores. But it ends up being a rush for him. So he'll tell you it's because of how they use him. Remember, that was
valid.
That's valid. And that you remember when he requested a trade, he said, "I'm not a running back." You know what I mean? That was his whole impetus for wanting to trade, but he really just wanted to get paid. So who's your number 3, Rio?
My number 3. I'm gonna put my number 3 as T. Higgins because I don't think anyone's getting a shot at him. I don't think anybody is getting a shot at him, but he would probably be the most ideal person. He should be number 1 because we wouldn't have to trade draft compensation. He wants to be a free agent. I watch the way he posts on social media. I'm seeing the way he's been moving. He definitely wants people to bid for him. and he wants to be courted. And y'all want that big body receiver? You got a big body guy with hands, can route you up, and he got a little wiggle to him after he gets the ball in his hand. He's what a lot of the fan base has been crying for a long time in this offense. And he's only 26 years old. You live with the injury stuff with a young player who's still ascending. Like I don't think we've seen the best of T. Higgins yet. So I would love to have the guy. Don't think we're going to get an opportunity. You're not even going to have the chance to get him at the negotiation table because Joe Burrow is over there on a presidential campaign to bring his guys back because he's like, look what it looked like with the guys here. If we lose the guys, then what? What are we talking with me and Jermaine Burton and Jamar Chase? You're like, no. But yes, T. Higgins is number 3 for me.
Rico, 3 and your 2.
Yeah, so for 3, I'm going to go with DK. And it's weird too because he has the height of the T. Higgins, he has the yards of the catchability of a Wilson. But I have him 3. I think that's a really interesting fit that I will really have to just see how it plays. I love his athleticism. And like we talked about the previous stream, he throws temper tantrums, but it's more so like towards the team. It's not like it's not destructive towards his own team, like where he's complaining and things like that. So he's pretty passionate and things like that. You do got to worry about a little bit of that type of stuff. But I would love to get DK, but I mean, to Rio's point too, like you got to trade for him. Higgins the only guy that may be available straight up, but in your scenario, you said just leave that all out of it, leave just the player themselves. And I like DK. I just feel like Wilson and Higgins will get there. They're the better route runners, like the guys you can guarantee are going to get open every single time that you need them to. Love DK. Yards after catch wise, amazing. And then he also brings the height, but I just got to put him 3rd just off of the route running specifically.
Go ahead and give me your number 2.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then number 2, I got Higgins. Higgins. Love Higgins. Love the height. And we'll talk about the number 1 later. Because I love Higgins. Higgins, DK, and Wilson would all separately be number 1s and maybe other free agencies. Like DK is right up there with those guys in my opinion, almost. And Higgins would definitely be number 1 if Garrett Wilson wasn't. If he wasn't so disgruntled about the whole Jet situation, T. Higgins would be my number 1. When healthy, I think that's where I've really that's really the separator between Higgins and Wilson is the health factor. You got to worry about you got to assume he's not going to play 4 or 5 games a season at this point. But I absolutely love T. Higgins. I think him and Terry is everything that we're hoping for. You just can't go and get that in this draft. I mean, you would hope like an Emeka Ibuka could work out to be that, maybe a Luther Burden, but T. Higgins is literally everything we want basically in a receiver right now.
My number 3 is Garrett Wilson. Excellent route runner, lackadaisical with the hands sometimes, and he's small. Like that's my biggest issue is I've seen small receivers get jacked up here, and I don't want any more of that. And we play in a physical division where guys are going to get in your face and be aggressive. It's the reason why Jahan Dotson's not here right now, because he was too small and he wasn't physical enough. And I don't think he's the same type of dog that Garrett Wilson is, just for the record. But he's not as talented as Garrett Wilson, but he's small. Garrett Wilson is small. And I worry about that in this division. We got enough small guys. We've had enough small guys. I'm looking for somebody with the size, the speed, run after catch. He gives you everything except the size. And if you don't hide him in stacks and bunches and motion, guys can get physical with him and disrupt him at line of scrimmage. Now, at your own risk, right? Because if you miss, even Jahan Dotson, made Jamari Conner miss at the line of scrimmage and beat him for, 30-something yard catch down to the 1 yard line. Like, you want to come up and jam and you don't get a clean jam off and the pressure don't get there, you could be in some trouble, but you could also disrupt the route and the timing of it. And I want somebody bigger, man, period. Pause. So that's my number 3. Rio, what's your number 2?
DK Metcalf, my boy. DK, I don't like. Are we certain he's gonna actually move? Are we certain that this is gonna happen?
So here's so I'll break it down for you. Mike McDonald, their head coach, he's a defensive minded guy first and foremost. So they're moving away from this wide open passing attack where Geno Smith is slinging it 45 times. They're not doing that no more. They want to run the football. He wants to play defense. Jackson Smith and Jigba took over as the number one receiver for them last year. And that's who they're rolling with moving forward. He's a cheaper option, obviously. He's only going into his third season. He's a first-round pick. So they feel like we got other weaknesses on this team, and we can get by with a guy that's – because DK is probably going to command $30 million plus on the free agent market. And they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay him.
It is crazy right now. I think it's about to be $30 million this upcoming season. I believe. I think I saw somewhere.
Yeah, I know. So for them, it is. I think it's 31 for them. But if they get rid of him, it's 18 million. Right? That's how much he's being paid. So, they're not interested. What I've been told from somebody who follows the Seahawks very closely is they're not interested in paying a 28, 29, 30-year-old because it's going to be a 3-year extension if they were to pay him. DK Metcalf, $30+ million when they have other issues that they need to address, and they're not going to be this wide open passing attack anymore. So a lot of people feel like he's fallen out of favor in Seattle, and that conversation is being had. Now, will he get traded? Don't know. But the conversation is a real one. I wouldn't have brought it up if it wasn't. It's a real conversation that DK Metcalf is definitely a guy that, I've been reading SI and they're like, man, it's a few general managers are like, we actually expect this man to get traded this offseason. Of all of these guys we talking about, he's the one. I'm saying this right now. Of all the guys that you don't think is going to get traded, so Garrett Wilson probably won't get traded. We'll see what happens with him. Obviously, it's a new regime there.
They may be trying to start it all over and rebuild that thing over
there. Could be, right? They could be looking to do that. But, of all the guys that we are talking about, I think DK has the best chance of getting traded. Like, I know Cooper Kupp and I know Deebo Samuel are out. They might get released if, something doesn't shake, right? They might get outright released.
You're not coming back.
So, but the guy that you don't think is getting traded, I think this DK that will get traded. So, but we'll see. He's interesting.
Yeah, DK is my number 2. He has the size, and he actually can use his size. We need a player on the roster that if Jayden's in trouble, he could just throw up the Hail Mary, or he could just throw up a prayer and somebody to go up and get it. DK is that. DK can take a screen or a slant 90 yards for a touchdown. Height, weight, speed, demon. Like, if he's actually available, he's still only, 27 years old? 27. Yeah, so, I mean, from the same draft class, that's wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B. You got code number 1s. If he's actually available, I would love to have a player like DK. That's my number 2.
Yeah, for me, I just saw Chef Dre's comment. So yeah.
So you was like, no wonder you won't laugh at when I said that. You was like, what is he talking about? Okay, that's why you won't.
No, I see now. But no, I believe you, Jay, man. I believe you. But him and that Eagles jersey, man, it wasn't.
It was looking a little rough, huh? Chef like, look, bro, that ain't on me. That ain't on me.
Right. But no, number 2 for me is Garrett Wilson. That's the guy that I wanted us to draft. 2 years ago now?
Me too, man. Me too.
But yeah, no, I just think yes, he is lean. I'll call him lean and not skinny. I think he's lean. But I just think the physicality, he's just so tough, man. Even at Ohio State, how he would fight and stuff like that. He would get in people's faces and like going on the sideline, he would like shove people's face masks and stuff like that. That's what I like about Garrett. I think he's a tough guy. We talk about route runners and guys that can get open, and he's a guy that can get open. For me, I'm looking at separation. That's what I'm really looking at for number 2 across from Terry. I'm really looking for a guy that can separate. I think Garrett can easily get open and can easily separate. I think he would be great next to Terry McLaurin, another Ohio State guy. We know how Ohio State guys have worked out so far for sure. And then him next to Terry, I think he would be a great number 2. I know we're not going to talk about contract-wise, but he has 2 years left. You pick up the 5th-year option. You trade. You're probably going to have to trade it first. No, we're not supposed to talk about compensation and whatnot, but he basically would be a better than the 29th pick. Like, he would be way better than a 29th pick. So I think that's a win right there. Doesn't have the height or the size, but he's going to get it done for you. I think he had a great year last year. He would have had an even better year if they didn't bring in Devontae Adams. Probably would have had at least 1,500 yards or something like that. So I think I got him number 2 because I think he's a better route runner than DK. And I take more stock in that.
And then hit us with your 1 while you at it.
Number one, yeah, it's T. It's T. 6'4", with 215, can go up and get it. Physicality, yards after the catch. I mean, basically everything we just didn't have in a number two, he brings it. I think he can really be a number one for a team. He may be a lower tier number one, but I really believe he's a number one in this league. Like if he goes to the Patriots, he's clearly number one. Over here, he'd be 1B, 1A, 1B. You can argue who's number one. For me, I really wouldn't care because I would just love that we would have more talent. But if you check off all the boxes, like just the catch point, focus on the catch, contested catches, like you look at the Broncos game where he had 3 touchdowns. I mean, he took over that game. He was huge in that game. That was a game they needed too. So I think he would just make things so much easier for Jayden. Like it would make life so much easier than Jayden for Jayden. Just stuff that we didn't get last year. Throwing no disrespect to Noah Brown and those guys, but you would see the difference.
There's levels.
Yeah, it's levels. Rico.
Yeah, I have Garrett Wilson number one for me. He's the youngest of the top 3. And I feel like, I mean, honestly, it's Cup and Debo, big gap, the other 3. I feel like DK, Higgins, Wilson, kind of pick your flavor.
Look, we'll take any one of the 5.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly.
Like,
honestly.
you're right. You're absolutely right. It's those 2 take like 15 steps and then you get to the next 3, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. But I'm happy with either one.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the youngest. I think Garrett Wilson's 24, and then T Higgins 26, DK Metcalf 27. So I'm gonna let that play as a factor as well. And when it comes to yards after catch per reception, Garrett Wilson leads all 3 as well. I would love that. Literally, the only downside is that he's not like 6'4" like the other 2. That's it. Everything else I would prefer Garrett Wilson. I mean, he also has more drops this past season, but he also had way more targets than the other guy, which also is a testament to his durability as well. So you can argue he's more durable than the other 2 guys. So we won't have, because I love T Higgins, but we're going to be right back in this same boat if Terry needs a number 2 a few games with him a season, just off of the fact that you just got to account for the fact he's going to probably miss 5 games. So your wide receiver 3 and 4 need to also be pretty good. Like I feel like if you get T Higgins, you may want to still, Cooper Kupp, don't trade for him. Maybe bring him in as a free agent for something cheap, to add to it. Garrett Wilson, I feel like alpha male personality. Now maybe I just have PTSD from the joint practice training camp we had against him, but he just felt like the most unstoppable, unguardable, uncoverable guy in a while. So I just want Garrett Wilson, youngest, yards after catch, all of that. Alpha, and to Ed's point, the alpha male part of it, I really love.
Rio.
Same. Garrett Wilson number 1 for me.
I knew that was your one.
Boy, I fell off the couch when he went 1 pick before I don't think we ever make that. I don't think we ever make the Jahan Dotson trade if Garrett Wilson doesn't go off the board 1 pick before us, because I assume well, you never know what them Bammers. I'm
about to say you really putting a lot of trust in Ronald and company.
All right, you're probably right. So Garrett Wilson, we probably would have passed on him. But
what I heard was their guy was Drake London. Once he was off the board, they were willing to deal.
That sounds so wrong.
Yeah,
that sounds so.
It's so crazy. Nobody wanted. He's actually had a really good career.
He's been good.
He's been really
very
good.
Yeah.
I wanted no parts of him.
I didn't either, but he's good. I warmed up to it closer to the draft, but no, I didn't want it. I wanted Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Garrett Wilson moves like the way you control a player on Madden. Like his cuts, his lateral agility, it's like a knife through butter, man. It's so easy for him. He gets the ball, you never know which direction he's going with it. Yards after catch demon, very small and bird-chested guy, but you got to catch him. You can use him in a multitude of ways. He can take the top off the defense. He can play the short game. He can play the screen game. That is a number 1 receiver opposite your number 1 receiver that you don't yet have to pay, still on his rookie contract. I think he would make the most sense. His team is in a complete rebuild. I think they're about to do away with this Rodgers situation, which is music to Garrett Wilson's ears. But at the same time, who the hell's throwing him the football? Who's throwing him the football out there? I'd want to get out of there. Hey, new guys, I ain't mad at y'all. I respect what y'all are putting down, but yeah, maybe trade me. And if just like with Myles Garrett, with Garrett Wilson, the Garretts, I would assume the targets, they'd want to send them to the NFC.
Right.
So I think we would be in the driver's seat if we were to target any of the Garretts. So it's easy. Number one, Garrett Wilson for me. You know how excited I would be for Garrett Wilson, Terry, and whoever the hell they want to throw in the slot going into next season.
Tutu Atwell. That's mine. That's mine. Give me Tutu.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we got a track team on the outside. We
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
track team.
Give me
4-3
Tutu.
everything. 4-3 everything. Okay.
Yeah. Throw me a little, and that's a cheap third option too.
With Diami as the number 4, my boy Westbrook a.k.a.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I'll take that.
Hey, that's a squad. That's
Hey,
a
Please.
hey, look, man. Hey, first of all, Nick about to get a little. He gonna get a little, mini bag,
You know what
right?
I'm
He
saying?
gonna get a
could be-
little something.
He could
man.
be the big body in the room. We got Wilson on the outside, Tutu in the slot. Bring the big body out there and be a touchdown demon on the inside.
That's when you just bring Noah Brown back at that point. When you just bring Noah Brown back at that point. But
What do you do to you, Lou?
I can't, man. We're not doing this Nick Westbrook a.k.a. thing. We're not doing it, man. Not like Ayala. Not on my watch. Okay. So my number 2 is T. Higgins, man. 6'4", big frame. Like Rico brought up, man. I was watching Hard Knocks in season with the AFC North, and he absolutely took over that Saturday night game versus Denver when they had to have it there. We all know about Cade York, right? Missed the field goal that would have won that game for him. And so they didn't want to have to settle for a field goal in overtime. Had already done that, and he missed. So Joe went to him on a back, shoulder pylon, almost a comeback at the pylon, and he delivered, man. He was everything in that game for them. Some of the strongest hands you'll find in the NFL. A guy that, people sleep on him because he's not a burner, but I liken him to Mike Evans in the sense that, you come up and you want to get in his face, he'll run by you, right? Like Mike Evans is one of those dudes, he gets vertical quite often. And you like, damn, his big ass. Yeah. You come up and you try to challenge him, or he gets a step on you, you're not catching up. And so he could do a little bit of that as well. Really love, that he's a chain mover, and there's multiple ways you can separate in this league, but 2 in particular, with route running or size. And he's a size guy, similar to my number 1. And I don't think it's even a conversation. It's DeKalen Metcalf. 6'4", 230, world-class speed. Can take the short pass, turn it in. Like, I just look at AJ Brown. I'm like, this is AJ. They were on the team together at Ole Miss. This is AJ Brown on steroids, right? Like,
I hated those days. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I bet you did. It was some nasty work being done out there in those days, right? I mean, you just look at what AJ Brown does. AJ Brown's not a great route runner, right? But that little slant that he runs, him and I think Jalen Hurts throws the prettiest fade goal ball in the NFL. Like, he just drops that thing over the outside shoulder.
Since prime Russ.
Yeah. I mean, this shit is crazy. It's almost like he could do that in his sleep. Like, he did the little gun motion, like, all right, bro. Yeah, he knew what that was.
Oh yeah, pre-snap. Yeah,
pre-snap. Yeah. He just pointed at him, did the little gun. He took off on him, and he got us with the same thing on a 4th and 5. Like, you got something when you're not afraid to do that in a critical situation like a 4th and 5. Like, normally you just want 6 yards on 4th and 5, right? Now they want 45 down the sideline. So you get that with DK, right? But DK is running for a touchdown on that. I've watched this man destroy the Eagles. I've watched this man destroy the Cowboys. Like, recently, okay? Like, they don't want the smoke with DK Metcalf. And you talk about throwing a screen. You talk about, how about blocking on a screen, right? I listened to Darius Slay talk about getting into it with DK and how DK was ragdolling him and how he wanted to fight him. Like, actually, out, man, to hell with football. I'm trying to fight this man because he's so damn big and physical, and he was pushing him around. And so I just think about all the things that we embody, all the things we're looking for. And just doesn't get better than DK Metcalf, bro.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you get everything you want. He ain't the route runner. To hell with the route running. Run a slant, use your body as a shield. Well, that'll suffice, right? you want to come up, you want to press, you fall asleep behind the wheel. Ain't no corners keeping up with this man. I watched him walk off the Patriots in overtime, ran right by Gonzo, touchdown. Like, he's different, and I would love to add him opposite of Terry. He can do everything, and so that's my number one. But you can't go wrong, like Rico said, with the top 3 options. If we could, this is the swing you got to take if you're Adam Peters this offseason. Again, it's not in his control, but if these guys are even remotely available, like when we get to the combine, you know, that's where a lot of these conversations start. Some of them get done at the combine because everybody's there, right? If you Adam Peters, man, you got to stop past the Seahawks little booth. Just, hey, what's going on, John, man? How you doing, man? How the kids? Hey, man, I heard y'all maybe thinking about moving on from DK, right? You got to do the same thing with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Got to do the same thing. You know, in the case of Cincinnati, they would have had to already, but they don't have to declare. I don't know when the deadline is for the franchise tag, but it's before the start of the new league year. And I know the combine is at the end of February, beginning of March. So it'll be somewhere in that neighborhood where you got to declare what you're going to do. But if we can come away with one, that's the kind of move we need to move the needle this year, y'all. Like, that's the type of move offensively we need to compete with the likes of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We need something of that caliber on the outside, and we need one of these college running backs. We need one of these college running backs.
That's coming. Now that I'm not concerned about because we're getting one of those this year. I think they understand that we're missing an element back there to change the game. So we're getting that. Can you imagine a guy with some speed or difference making ability back there with Jayden, and they run that read option? Like, I mean, I just think about Alfred Morris and how successful he was, but it was Alfred Morris. Could you imagine if that was somebody with some real wheels and some real difference making ability?
Or just someone with elite vision that could always make something on the run, like someone who could make something out of even the smallest, someone who doesn't need the Red Sea to be open for them to produce.
Yeah. They're getting something. Like, we leaving this draft with something. Right, at the running back position. I'm not worried about that, but
some type of difference make. And to your point, March 4th is the franchise tag deadline.
Yeah, so that's right around the combine. I think the combine is like the end of February, like the 26th,
the last couple of days,
right, and then into the beginning of March. So you'll know if T. Higgins is getting franchise tagged by that time, or you'll have some sense of it. And so again, I would be doing a lot of politicking and rubbing elbows at the combine if I'm Adam Peters. Same with Cleveland, like. Hey, what's up, Andrew? What's going on, Andrew?
Man?
What's good with you, bro? Yeah, man. I know y'all said y'all won't trade in Miles, but if you do decide, I know you don't want to trade him to an AFC team, right? Hit my line. I'll be checking in.
I think we're gonna get Myles Garrett, y'all.
You really do?
Yes, because they're going through the 5 stages of grief right now. Once they reach acceptance and have to look at each other and say, we got to deal them, guys. Like, the man put his trade request on wax like he was drafting the Bill of Rights. Like, that's not the same as scrubbing your Instagram. That you can't go back from that.
This man said I talked to LeBron James and asked him about how to go about
leaving Cleveland.
Yeah, he's done. He's gone. At least mentally and emotionally.
Mentally, he's checked out of these boys.
Man did a full album rollout press run at Super Bowl week, just like our quarterback did.
That was crazy, bro.
Who want to come get me? Who want me? He did a whole.
I was like, that ain't tampering. You can do that. Like, this man was like, yo, Philly would be crazy. Like, he was playing games.
5 different interviews, man.
Yeah, it was wild.
Shouts out to all the media members doing the Lord's work too.
Oh,
how would you feel about Jayden Daniels? Being cons.
Yeah.
He was going into specifics about us.
Exactly.
About like, what we need.
He was like, yeah, they they need pass rush, right? Like, that's one of the things I feel like they missing. I feel like I'm one of the best. I'm not just a pass rusher, though. I'm one of the best defensive players. I'm the best defensive player in the league. They could definitely use one of those. I'm like, you can do that? You can talk in depth about a team that you're not on?
Man, he's out here talking about what he's willing to go work on the contract and everything with the team that comes and gets him. I think once they get to that stage of acceptance and the grief process, they're gonna say, yeah, we got to get him the hell out this conference, but we got to grant him his trade request. And I think Adam Peters going to be on this line the whole time. I think we're going to get him, guys. I think we're getting that Myles Garrett.
That would be awesome if we could get something like that, bro. But I'm not going to let you psych me up. That's what you're not going to do. I ain't going to let you put that battery in my back. All right,
bro.
Hey, but go ahead and put it out there. Speak that into existence.
We are getting Myles Garrett, bro. Like, just wait on it.
Somebody needs to sit down with the Cleveland Browns and them and just be like, yo, just look at this situation and where it's headed 2-3 years from now. You're literally better off trading them right now.
This compensation. Let me sell you a dream. You know, the Manning kid's going to be in the next draft or the draft after that, bro. Take this pick. Take this pick, man. Go ahead and go love.
But that's the part that's scary now. Like in past years, we would be perfect, right? Because we would have had the 12th, 11th. 9th.
We're pretty much second round pick.
Bro, we trying to offer you some second round, fringe second round picks while the Bears is like top 10, right? Sitting there like, yo, I give you 6. And I'm gonna give you my joint next year. And what's stopping the Bears from being asked again next year? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing that has me worried, like, is
AP, man. AP about to show us what he about, because Howie Roseman ain't the only one to know how to wheel and deal this league. We about to see what our GM made of this offseason.
Yeah, without question.
Who's to say the Eagles don't try to get him too? Because you know how Howie is.
Yeah, look, we not gonna bring that. Ed, what are you doing, Ed? What are you doing, Ed?
We all could see it. We all could see it.
Right, but we can't say it. You don't say it, but we can see it. You don't say it.
We finna get Myles Garrett, and they gonna try to even us up and go get Crosby. That don't matter.
Hey, bro, stop it, bro.
Some tit for tat shit.
Man, it's about to turn into like the arms race. You know, in baseball, the Red Sox go get this dude, the Yankees go get this dude, then the Dodgers just go get 3 dudes and be like, "What y'all gonna do now? What?" Like that's how it's finna be, man. Like. That's what the Eagles are doing out here, man. They setting the bar high. Now you gotta go chase them. Kyle W, man. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Kyle W writes, maybe other GMs in the league watched the Super Bowl massacre and thought, maybe we shouldn't give Eagles 2 number 1 picks for a pack of gum and 3 number 6s. Quit enabling a dream team. Thank you. You're not wrong, but that's what we saw how he was trying to do our GM, right? When he tried to finagle the pick and change the number, right? He said, so that's gonna be, one. That's gonna be the second round pick, right? And then it's gonna be the 6th round. He's like, bro, stop playing with me, bro. Like we already talked about this. It's 141. We getting 141. We're not getting 161. He tried to give us like 161, and we were supposed to get 141.
AP laughed it all. Like,
we're not doing that, bro. Stop it. He's like, he's such a. I think what he called him an ass or something like that. He's like such an ass. But they cool. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe we should stop doing business with them. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not saying that they won the trades, but it's like, yeah, they're benefiting pretty well from the trade. You know, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing business with them. But if you feel like you getting something out of it too. But I'm with you, Kyle. Like, stop giving these. Like, how do the Eagles end up with like 13 picks in every draft? Right? Like, stop doing business.
And they be hitting on them picks too.
But they only make like 8 or 9 selections. They trade back to the next year's draft and had like 4 extras for the next year draft. Right?
They be geared up.
Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Devon Cat. Hey.
Let's go, Devon.
Big ups to Devon.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro. Who writes, what's good, Kings? Hope you're doing well. Likewise. Really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Sorry for not super chatting last week. Was going through some stuff. You don't gotta apologize for that, man.
Never that. Ever. All you gotta do is watch, bro.
That's it. That's all we looking for, man. Like, really appreciate you. He says, I want to say, Lou and Rio, I know the feeling. I was watching Media Week with Jayden. Man, I was loving it all. What do you think of it? Bro, so let's talk about it. You took us right into our segue. I know y'all saw it because y'all some nerds like me. I know y'all saw the MVP odds for 2025 drop. Y'all seen where our boy is.
Mm-hmm.
How
Fifth,
y'all
right?
feel about the 5th?
Yeah, I was going to hit Ed. I was going to hit Ed up and say when we starting up the campaign for MVP because I'm ready to be a part of it.
Hey, if y'all want to put a little something in a pot, and we put them and we get Ed to put down some odds, we put this money up. What y'all try to do? I said
parlay on that thing. You know,
we talked about the company he keeps. I've said I don't know about y'all. He's top 5 already for me.
He is.
I think 4 is four is cemented and it's hard. I think it's almost impenetrable at this point.
Yep.
Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, Burrow. You can't get into that. That's the 4, right?
Until like Jayden, the number 5 wins a ring before the other guys.
That's right. That's the only way you can penetrate the top 4, right?
And I'm sorry, Hurts's ring does not put him in that mix either.
No,
I'm sorry.
It doesn't. I tried to explain to them.
Don't shoot.
I tried to explain it to him, but they on cloud 9. They ain't trying to hear that right now. But the facts are what they are, right? He was a good quarterback before he won. He's still a good quarterback, but that doesn't change who he is, right? It just changes the narrative surrounding him, right? That's what that ring did. Was it changed the narrative surrounding him? But when it's all said and done, Jayden is in the company that he's supposed to keep because he's one of them ones, and he's with the other one of them ones that I've talked about. And so 5th, I was going to ask you guys the biggest thing they have to do to help him reach the hype surrounding him as the 5th best odds to win league MVP next year. What's the one biggest thing they have to do?
You gotta get him another receiver.
Yep, that's it. That's the answer. That's the answer right there.
Yeah, you look at all the other top guys. You look at we just talked about Jalen Hurts. He's got a number 1 at AJ Brown, and he's got a 1B in Devontae Smith. And Jayden just doesn't have that. He has a 1A in Terry, but you look around, even Zach Ertz did a good job, but you just need another number 2 option. Whether it comes from bringing in a tight end, it doesn't matter. You just need another number. You need a number 2 option. You need another guy to get you 1,000 yards in a season. You need
a dynamic tight end added, like a young, athletic, dynamic tight end that's a pass catcher first, attached to that number 2 receiver. Then we really talking.
Yeah, I agree, but I will also elite defense, man, because Jalen Hurts can go out there and throw an interception. It almost doesn't matter because the defense is going to give him the ball right back. Whereas, we're fumbling the ball and our defense can't do much with the Eagles. And then the lead just it just gets further and further away from us to even potentially make a comeback. So, of course, trenches just in general, but even specifically just an elite defense that takes the ball away. And so they can. We were, I think, 9th in time of possession, but that was purely because our offense was historically efficient.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think a defense would be a huge help for Jayden.
Any of that stuff, like tackle, all trenches, running back, an explosive back, like anything that just makes his job just like it's funny because when you talk to Eagles fans, he couldn't get him over the hump. I'm like, he's a rookie. He took a 4-13 team from a season ago and made him 12-5, and he led our team in rushing and he led our team in passing, and like he broke over 30 rookie records, not franchise rookie records, NFL rookie records. Like
he would an MVP, man. He's winning MVP next year. Like, how much of the Radio Row shit did y'all
watch?
I consumed hours of it. And
I went bananas one night. I just sat there
for like 4.
Bro, I went bananas. You would have thought we was in the Super Bowl, bro. I went because I went through like the stages of grief you talked about, right? And I was in denial for a while. I was stuck, right? So I was away from everything. I
opened it up.
like Rio, he was like watching Eagles shit, and I'm like, Rio, man, you a soldier, bro. I don't want none of it, bro. And then I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna just watch one interview. And 1 turned to 2, 2 turned to 4, 4 turned to 8. Next thing I know, I'm on a couch for like 4 hours straight, just watching Jayden Daniels go from one booth to the next booth to the next booth. I watched that silhouette joint off of Bleacher Report at least 400 times, bro.
Bruh.
Oh, that was beautiful.
That boy
That was
watches, but meanwhile, the quarterback playing in the Super Bowl, I didn't watch football like that. And now Jaden's telling you what Baker Mayfield's silhouette looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say he's the only
He
one
even
that's
throw
ever
the
gotten all
ball,
of them
bro.
right.
He didn't even
Yeah,
throw the
that's
ball.
crazy.
He ran Bobby Wagner over.
Why y'all do my boy Bobby like
Yeah, like that. He ran Bobby Wagner over. And
I can make fun of him, but y'all can't.
oh,
Did
man.
you see the way Pat McAfee and Kate Adams and they know he's him. They know, like, oh, this is going to be the face of the NFC and probably the face of this league soon because he's so much more likable than everybody else's quarterback, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Pat McAfee was the funniest. He was like, you know how many people you got fired with this throw against the Bears?
Your Bears, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. He let his guard down a couple times with certain people, like with Chad, with Ocho and he let his guard down with them a little bit.
Cut up a little
definitely with Pat McAfee. He was like, yeah, my mom right there. She right there. You know what I'm saying?
Chicken wings. She was eating the chicken wings.
Yeah, she was busting them joints down. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all the real story. Yeah. Yo, so man.
Even just beyond Jayden too, people talking about him. Like I think it was Charles Woodson that said, like, yeah, they're gonna get a lot of great players to come over there because of that kid. I think Trey Aikman on his like own podcast said, like, I think if anything, he's only gonna get better going into next year. Like it's not gonna be a sophomore slump. Some people are even looking at him and saying, I think it's gonna be a sophomore leap, if anything. Like he's not gonna do what CJ Stroud did, basically.
He was in NOLA politicking like this is his first presidential campaign, bro. You know, Kay Adams always gets people cheesing and stuff. He had her cheesing and stuff. Yeah. He had Kay Adams nervous at that. Yo, I'm telling you, he's the one, bro.
Yeah.
And not only that, like,
different.
big neighbors like came out of nowhere. Somebody was like, "Who do you want to play with?" Of course, Malik said Jayden. Like Malik was doing his own thing. He just came out there and said Jayden. He was walking
like he don't play for a rival.
Right. Yeah. And you ain't
4 years.
I'm about to say you ain't on a rookie deal and you just got through your rookie season. But he already know, like, if you watch the Hard Knocks, nobody, by the way, is ever doing that Hard Knocks again. That's dead. That's dead, bro. But Malik didn't want to go to the Giants. This is why he answered the questions the way that he did, right? That's why he was like, when they asked him about how would he feel about losing? Oh no, I don't like losing. Like, that he's like, how would you feel if you didn't get the ball? Like, nah, that ain't cool. Like, he ain't want to go there. I always harken back to that when they called his name on draft night. That was the least enthused I've ever seen a player who just had their life changed ever. Like, he looked at his phone like, damn, I thought they were gonna draft. Like, he was not happy, bro. And you could tell with their situation. But if they get, one of these two quarterbacks at the top of this draft, it could all change for them. But it ain't Jayden. I know that much. Yep. It ain't Jayden.
It ain't. You can't recreate that, man.
You can't. Derek B. I'm just glad I wasn't alone because I think I watched every single YouTube video that was up from Radio Row with Jayden in it.
Oh, yeah. Last thing too, like he was joking around with Drewski. He was on the the little celebrity game,
the flag game. Yep.
Yeah, he was at that too. He was showing on that. He was interviewing.
You can't even just do YouTube. You got to get on Twitter too, because it was like him, Malik, and Sauce Gardner even joking around, talking about the talent on the.
And then Micah Parsons. Like there are so many clips of. I had to see all of it, bro. He's a star.
Every bit.
Yeah.
You got to go.
And everyone knows he's a star.
Yeah. It's damn, it
People
feels
were literally
good.
gravitating around.
Micah said we win in the Super Bowl.
You see, he looked at him. You see the way he looked at him. He ain't even say nothing. He just looked at him like.
And then Jared was like, "Oh, I hate to play Jayden for the next couple."
Oh yeah, that was the best one. I ain't gonna lie. Jerry Jones looked like he was sick. Like we got to play him at least twice.
He literally looked sick. I was like, man, how much longer you got, bro? You look a little pale over there, man. Jayden will do that to you, though. He'll do that to you. Boy, it feels good to have one of them ones.
It's real. It's sustainable. Yeah. It's not fluky. It's not gimmicky. Like he's that.
Man, it feels good. We deserve this. I always tell the fan base, we deserve this. Nobody deserves this more than that.
People were doing the thing with him where they wanted to see what his recognition of a play was, and that boy could draw it. He could tell you everything. He could tell you what the defense was. He's that, bro. He's on some Brady type shit, bro. Yeah. I love it.
That's why that Giants thing looks even better now. And it was like, what do you do in this situation? He said, throw a touchdown.
Throw a touchdown.
Yeah, he knew what he was looking at, and now people are hip to the fact, and everybody's going to be doing that VR shit because of him.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that too. I hope it don't. I hope it don't work.
You hope it don't work for them.
I hope it don't work.
Everybody
Rico.
Everybody don't click between the ears like 5, so they can do what they can try. They can't duplicate this though.
Yeah, it's levels to this, man. Levels to this. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My God, Derek B writes 20 games, 6 fourth quarter sacks in 5 games. Need finishers. But that's part of the reason why we could never rely on the defense, right? Because we knew if we were going to win a game late, the offense had to have the football. Whether it was to close a game out, being that we were ahead, like that second Giants game is a great example, right?
Yep.
Who had the confidence that we were going to stop the Giants if they got the ball again? Not me, right?
Definitely not me.
So we knew we like, hey, Jayden, they can't see this rock again, bro. He's like, I got it.
We saw that Saints game.
Yeah. That's another great, example of, bro, you already know what this is. Do not leave this up to the defense because you know what's going to happen. You already know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So that stat right there is indicative of a defense that doesn't have a closer. We don't have a closer. That's where a Myles Garrett would come in to play, or Max Crosby, or somebody of that ilk.
Myles coming, y'all. Keep the faith. Myles coming over here, man.
We get into existence, Rio. I'm not gonna let you put the battery in my back, but get into existence. Chris Hunter, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chris writes, biggest takeaway for me right now for a Super Bowl. He says their pass catchers can beat one-on-one coverage, and they got some hungry dogs on D. We need some hungry dogs on D, just like we had with 4 and 0. And we need more of those, like to your point, like, watching the Eagles defensively, their discipline, again, you just want your guys that you count on to be accountable week in, week out. Like, we don't know what Daron Payne or Jonathan Allen is going to show up. Any given week, we don't know. One week, Jonathan Allen looks like he's a stud, like turned the clock back 2-3 years ago, and you're like, man, that's the Jonathan Allen. And then you might not see that dude again for another 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks,
or like 8,
or exactly. Like, you just don't know. Daron will show you flashes, and then you won't see that guy again, right? You just need guys that can, like with the Eagles in particular, and it's not just the Eagles. There are other good defensive teams. Like the Broncos were really good defensively this season. Like, you just know what you're getting. Guys are gonna play ball every week.
There's a certain floor of an expectation.
Exactly, that's the perfect
Bingo.
way to put it. Exactly,
Bingo.
And that's the problem. Is our floor is so low. Like DQ said about our team, we raised the floor last year, right? Like, there's a certain standard now. Like, it's not okay to win 7 games next year. The floor has been raised to where we expect double-digit wins. That's the floor now. And so our floor needs to be raised defensively. It's too damn low. It's too low. That's a perfect way to put it, Rico.
It's too volatile.
Fox Hayes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Fox writes, sup, Kings? What up, Fox?
What up? What up?
We need a home run running back, a Sonic. How about Trayvon Henderson? Speed, vision, and catching. We'll be there at 29. Would y'all take him? I'm all for it. I don't know what the value of that is, but I'm all for anybody that's a difference maker. What says y'all?
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 guys that you could sell me to come start running back year 1 for this football team this year. He's on that list. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything to add there?
Would it be ideal and consensus to take a running back in the first round? It doesn't really matter. Like you said, you just got to get a difference maker. You saw what the Lions did with Jahmyr Gibbs. They took a swing. And we need a game changer for Jayden in the backfield. Like, I hate to bag on B-Rob, but we just need an upgrade there, man. And Trayvon brings the speed, and he's good in pass protection too. So he's like a jack of all trades kind of guy.
Christopher McLaughlin, my guy, C-Mac. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, 50 ball. Really appreciate you, My guy Chris writes, "Hey Lou, Rio, Rico, and Ed. Hope everyone is well. Likewise, as always, truly do appreciate you. Takeaways from the Super Bowl: our O-line tackles and D-line edge need upgrades. Facts. And we need to learn how to get pressure with just 4 consistently. Question: what are the 3 areas on D that need to be addressed and why, and to be top 5 and why? So what are the 3 areas on this defense that need to be addressed in order for this group to be top 5? So, we were the 13th ranked defense in football last year. I know that sounds crazy, but that was based off of our offense possessing the football and the defense not being on the field, right?
Yep.
So that was a fake 13th in the league, but that's where we were. Yep. How do you get this defense from 13 to 5? 3 areas. If you got one, whatever comes to mind, but what can take us to that next step? There's obvious ones. Obvious.
We got to set the edge. I mean, off rip. Please, can we find a way to set the edge? Yep. Got to get there. I already know y'all are going to say the rest. I don't want to steal any more, but setting the edge has to be one of the top 2 priorities of this offseason, honestly.
Yep.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, another corner, just upgrading talent. We talk about talent in other areas, but the cornerback has to be a talent, has to upgrade at talent for sure. I mean, we were throwing Ben St. Juste was cornerback 1 for the first 8 games of the season, so that's what we were running out there.
Mm-hmm. Throwing Michael Davis out there.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody for Michael Davis, man. That's on me. I apologize.
I'm with you though. I'm with you on that.
I apologize, everybody. That's on me.
I think the thing we need we need a turnover specialist. Like, can pick it off, can force fumbles. Like, say what you want about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That boy is making plays for that Eagles defense. I believe his last season with Philly, he had 6 interceptions and he forced fumbles. This year, had 6 interceptions and he's forced fumble. You can get a guy
and he hit too.
And he hits. If you get a guy that's forcing over 5 turnovers a season for you, that makes such a big difference, because some of those turnovers are giving your offense a layup and you're getting the ball on the 25, or you get the ball on the 30 or inside the 15. That matters. We need somebody on the defense, I don't care where you find him, that can force turnovers consistently.
That's the problem. Like Philadelphia's entire secondary is hunting the ball.
Yes.
Like Reed Blankenship is hunting the rock, bro.
Hunter.
He's hunting the rock. You know what I'm saying? Cooper DeJean is hunting the rock.
You can tell they practice that peanut punch too.
they absolutely do. But that's something that you got to be wired to do. We don't even attempt that.
Nope.
You know what I mean? We did it one time. Like the one I can remember, Benjamin St. Juste did it in week 2 against the Giants. Mm-hmm. Yep. That was the first time we created a turnover the entire year. And
Quan Martin did it too, but I think the Eagles recovered it or something like that.
Yeah, so he punched. That's a bolo punch. So that's the one from behind when he punched it out of the Dallas Goedert's hands, and they tight end came out.
And Lugu should have recovered it.
Yeah, it was like 5 commanders around, and somehow we let the one Eagle tight end Calcaterra come out of nowhere and recover the ball. You're like, you gotta be kidding me, bro.
If there's one thing I know my football team is going to do, is we're going to not recover a fumble, man.
Oh. That's why that Bobby Wagner one against Tampa was so big, because we don't recover fumbles, bro. That's why I was like, yo,
with that Dorrance Armstrong.
Yeah. Like, we just don't recover fumbles. So I'm like, this is huge.
Oh, this is different tonight. We recovering fumbles.
Yeah. It's different. So I think we hit on all of. You got to stop the run better. Obviously, set a more physical edge. Like, they tried to get on the perimeter against the Chiefs, and they just weren't having it. Like, okay, let me ask y'all this. So there's a chance that Nick Bolton, who I wanted so badly in that 2021 draft instead of Jamin Davis. Godly. Y'all talk about wanting Garrett Wilson. I wanted Nick Bolton that year. He is potentially going to be available now. I think the Chiefs would be stupid to let him walk. And I expect them to re-sign him at bare minimum, franchise tag him, so that he doesn't leave until they can get something done with him. But say he does become available, would you upgrade Bobby Wagner for Nick Bolton, or would you just bring Bobby back based off of principle?
So, like, you can't have both, is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Nah, because you're not. Bobby Wagner's not going to play a backup role, right? And Nick Bolton's not coming somewhere to be a backup. He's getting starter money. He's a starter in this league. Jermaine Pratt just requested a trade from Cincinnati, but he ain't Nick Bolton. Like, it's levels to this. you can't get both of them back because we don't play but 2 linebackers at a time. The only time we put a third linebacker on the field is if you're playing with a big formation, 12 personnel, 13 or 21 personnel. And most teams aren't playing with that kind of personnel on the field. So you're not going to see that too often.
I mean, Bolton, I want Bobby back for his leadership. He was good for us this year, bro. You can't make me mad at a younger, more explosive option at the position. I wouldn't be mad at. I see people talking about should we trade for Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals.
I'm good.
I wouldn't do that, but
if
Bolton hit that open market, let's have a conversation.
Yeah, and they think that Jordan McGee is going to be what Nick Bolton is. That's what they think. I like Jordan McGee a lot, by the way.
Yeah, I want to see what him and Dominique Hampton are because I think a part of that run defense being ass is that we don't have no young, explosive legs at the linebacker position.
Right.
It's all Luvu and Bobby all game.
That's right. And
95% of snaps type of stuff.
you can see it when you get to the perimeter. We're not fast enough. Like when you watch that Chiefs defense, Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton, they flying, bro. Flying. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, even a defensive line, Tashard, Wharton, like them dudes is flying, bro. It's 4 or 5 Chief defenders. Saquon want to do that stupid ass jump spin. All right, next dude put his ass down, right? Mm-hmm. They threw the little swing pass to him. Nick Bolton was like, bro, stop it. Tackle him for like a 4 or 5 yard loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's levels to this, man. I want Bobby back, but if you gave me a chance to upgrade like that, I think they really feel like Jordan McGee is that guy, though.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
Remember they had Bobby Wagner in that Josh Harris press conference, though.
Yeah. Jayden loves Bobby with a passion.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. I don't think he's going nowhere.
Yeah, he's going to be back.
Door Gunner, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Door Gunner writes, getting my leg ready to win this kicking job.
Hey, man.
He been talking about getting his leg ready for the whole season. Hey, that's an interesting, like, we haven't talked about the kicking position, but that's a real thing. Like, we joking about it, but that's a real thing, bro.
Give me a rookie and let's grow with him and let's live with the growing pains of him. I don't want to look for a kicker in quite some time.
Yeah. You just said something that's big. You live with the growing pains. What if this dude is struggling, bro? Like, we think we a championship team. You need a kicker you can rely on. I'm with you. I want a guy that you could just ride with. Like, I envy the Cowboys. Like, they don't have to worry about kicker for the next 15 years, right?
I think we're ready to cast all our sins of the past aside. I think the football gods are going to allow us to have a kicker that can grow with our ascension.
I would love it. I would love it. I would love it, bro. I would definitely
find us a Justin Tucker that doesn't get massages, you know? We can go find us one of those.
Hey, sorry, Tuck, you had to catch a stray, man, but it is what it is, bro.
If they can solve quarterback, they can solve kicker, man. I believe they'll figure it out.
Nice.
Hey, he tried, man. He did wonders last year with, the situation being what it was, but
we made it to the NFC Championship with a 6-kicker rotation.
Hey, bro, and that's nasty work, man. Bro. It's the nastiest of nasty work that we made it, bro.
We had to turn into the best 4th down conversion offense in NFL
history just to avoid having to kick field goals, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Like, we got to the point where if we didn't get to a certain range on the field, we were going for it on 4th down.
Jayden wasn't even looking to the sideline. He was just standing.
Like, it's got to be 40 or it's got to be 45, like 48 or in. Like, we're not even attempting a 50-yard field goal. Man, it's wild. Christopher McLaughlin, my guy, Chris, double up, even doubling up, who writes, hey, Lou, Rio, Rico, and Ed, 2 questions. 1, how do you expect Kingsbury's offense to change with there being film on Daniels coming season and why? And 2, would each of you consider a reasonable season for Terry and why? So what would you consider a reasonable season for Terry coming up this season? I don't personally think it's going to be that big of a look, they got film but we're going to add some talent.
Yeah, they get film on all the greats,
Yeah, they got talent, and then Jayden is special. There's certain things you can't defend, right? And you can't scheme for. Like you saw Mahomes try to escape, he couldn't get away. And again, it's levels to this shit. And Mahomes is one of the best in the business at making something out of nothing, but Jayden is pretty damn special in his own right. And so when you think you got him bottled up, how many times we see him jump at the perfect time when somebody's coming from the backside to try to sack him, and he leap like it was like an iconic picture when we were playing the Bears. He was hurt, mind you, right? And he's leaping in the air, and there's a Bear defender falling
from behind him,
right?
Yeah.
And he don't see that, he just feel it. You know what I mean? He did the same thing against Cleveland on that bomb to Terry, right?
He has the most elite spin out. Like when he feels the pressure and just spins out of it, like and rolls out. He has that to perfection. And
you can't scheme against that. You know what I mean? Like you think you got him and then you don't. And so, yeah, they're gonna be some things that are, you know, core plays that they like to get to that you can try to defend, but you can't take everything away. And mind you, we talked about this. We have the fewest players under contract in the NFL right now. This is going to be a different roster next season. Again, it's going to be a different roster. So
that was exactly going to be my point. I mean, when we add talent around them, now you got a scheme for whoever we may add in the receiver room, maybe like a T. Higgins or a Garrett Wilson. That changes everything. We get a dynamic running back. Now you're not, you know, not only do you have to worry about our running back from 0 to 10 yards, you got to worry about him taking it to the house, and that's going to require extra attention as well. So, I mean, you can try all you want. They're going to watch film on Jayden, and Jayden's going to watch film on them. We saw throughout the season as he went against different defenses. This defense likes to blitz a lot. This defense, like the Eagles, can get pressure with 4 and have the other 7 guys in coverage, and Jayden Daniels just kept adjusting throughout the time. So, if there's any quarterback I can trust to constantly keep adapting, it's him. And then we had the whole narrative about Cliff Kingsbury, you know, second half of season curse, but he adjusted as well. And so I just feel like they got something going to where I'm not worried about that at all. I trust them to figure it out. And I mean, I think even Cliff Kingsbury said something to the extent of like, it's, you know, this past year we were learning the playbook. This next season we're going to be expanding the playbook. So I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think Cliff did a great job. You know, talk about the whole left side with Terry, and then next thing you know, against the Titans, he lines up on the right side, and Terry has 2 touchdowns in that game. So I think Cliff did a great job adjusting throughout the season. Like you guys said, if we get a different receiver like DK, of course you're going to adjust. You're going to do some quick slants, stuff like that, just to show off the physicality and the mismatch you would have with the DK or T. Higgins, guys like that. So the receivers and the talent would change the playbook too. So Cliff has shown that he can make adjustments. A better running back would clearly help too. But to answer the question about Terry, I mean, Terry's going to get 1,000 yards every season. It doesn't matter who you have out there. He's going to get 1,000 yards, wide receiver personnel. Death taxes Terry 1,000 yards. The biggest thing was the touchdowns. He had, 13 touchdowns?
Yep, set the record.
So, you know, can he do that again? So, which I believe he definitely can. So the yards is not a big thing to me. I think like I said, he's clearing at 1,000. The touchdowns is, can he keep up the consistent scoring the football? Because that's kind of been the knock on him, is getting the ball in. So he's like touchdowns. So,
I mean, and he could have had 18 this year if he just could kick out of some of these, you know, shoestring tackles.
Learn how to hot step a little bit.
Right. So finishing the plays. The Bears game, he didn't finish that. Where he could have been at the Browns game where Jayden threw the 60-yard pass. He didn't
the Browns one.
Bengals game.
Bengals game. That was the first deep ball of the season.
My measuring metric for Terry is really touchdown, because you know what you're going to get with the yardage. So just the touchdowns for me. Can he keep that up?
Double-digit touchdowns and give me 1,100 plus yards, and we cool, because his numbers could take a dip if we get an actual legit second option receiver. You know how cool it would be to have 2,000-yard receivers? You know how Baker been living over there with Godwin and Evans? You know how dope that would be for us?
We ain't done that since 1999. That's the last time.
No, then we had Garcon and Jackson.
Oh, that's right.
We almost did all 3. Crowder had 900.
That's right.
John had 1,000. And
that's
we almost had 3.
Yeah,
We almost pulled
Jordan Reed on that team too, right?
Yeah, Jordan Reed was on that team. We almost pulled the Breston, Bolden, Fitzgerald. The last team I could think of that had 3,000-yard receiver. We almost did it with Kirk, bro.
Yeah. Yo, that would have been crazy. And I would guess Jay Reed probably had 7 and some change that year too. You know,
because Kirk threw for 4,900.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's coming.
That would be wild.
MVP Jayden.
On deck.
Hey.
Hey, oh, Lamar Adams.
Hey.
Thank you for the hundo piece. Really appreciate you, man. We can't thank you enough. And also, while we here, take the time to shout out the almost 700 of y'all in the chat holding us down. We had a late start tonight. Y'all was probably expecting us on Tuesday. Then you was expecting us on Wednesday. We showed up on a Thursday night. And y'all said, right. And y'all said, hey, we going to hold y'all down anyway. So we really, truly do appreciate each and every single one of y'all. If you could do us a huge favor, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button, as that helps this channel grow exponentially. Subscribe for more great content. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Just like tonight, unprompted, you didn't know it was coming, and boom, just like that. So if you ain't got that notification bell, you might miss it. So we really appreciate y'all, and we really appreciate you, Lamar Adams, for the hundo piece. Peace and blessings, Kings. Likewise to you and yours, man. Really appreciate you. Love the convo. Great as always. However, everyone who saw that Super Bowl and our NFC whooping know we need to put most of our resources in the D-line and O-line. You're not wrong.
You're not
wrong. I've talked about trenches and how important it is, and we get enamored with, because you know what's not sexy? You know what is sexy? You know what is sexy? A guy running a 4.3 4.40 who had 102 catches and 1,600 yards receiving, and you can quantify all of his, attributes and exploits, and he jumped 42 inches at the combine. That's sexy. You know what's not sexy? Drafting an offensive lineman in the first round. That ain't sexy, right? Who wants to talk about pancake blocks and, how many straight consecutive starts he had, and he can play both left and right side? Who wants to talk about that? That's not sexy. But you know what is? Keeping your damn quarterback upright. That shit is sexy. That's what I'm trying to do.
You know what was sexy? Watching the Super Bowl, watching the team get pressure with no extra rush.
Yeah, that's what we trying to be on. And in order to do that, you got to divulge resources to that.
Oh yeah. Miles
we went years without drafting a first round offensive lineman. The Sheriff was the last one, right? Yep. Up until that was the last one, right? We still haven't drafted another one, right?
Cosme was the second
round pick, right? So like you want these types of things to happen, you got to invest in it. You know what I mean? And it don't always got to be a first round pick.
Nope.
But normally we try to wait to the third or the fourth or the fifth round to try to get us some stuff, right? I mean, think about the tackle situation. Before Cosme, we tried Jaron Christian. That was a third round pick, right?
We should have had Darisaw. That I'm still sick about that.
Yeah. Who was the first round pick? That Jamin, right?
That was the Jamin draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Darisaw went like 5 picks after us.
Yeah. And turned out to be like a Pro Bowl, tackle.
And that's somebody in your area. Like how you
remember it was it was the dude that was from Carolina. What's his Marty Herney. He wanted Darisaw so bad, and Ron overruled him. I remember Herney saying Darisaw is the guy, and they didn't take him. Yeah. So
good God.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Lamar. It's offensive and defensive line first. I mean, I think you can be aggressive in free agency and attack some of those positions we've been talking about, but in the draft, I think you got to be aggressive on the D line in particular because it's so talented. And then offensive line, I heard it's not a great offensive line draft. I heard that, but this is what the Eagles do, and I hate that we keep bringing the damn Eagles up, but they're the gold standard now.
They
right?
are.
They go the unconventional route too, like Jordan Mailata. That's a rugby player.
Seventh round
flyer. We're gonna take on a rugby player and develop him.
He's a dog.
We tried that with Sammy Reyes.
He's a model now. He's an Instagram model now.
Yeah. Like, can't make this stuff up, man. There's levels to this, Devon Cash, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Right. What's up, guys? Forgot to mention, I'm also upset that one voter who ruined Jayden's sweep of the Rookie of the Year. I was so heated. We know who he is. We outed him. Him.
Was it Sam Monson?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
He sure was.
He voted for Bowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. And
It's
yes, he
always
had a
one
tremendous year, right? Come on,
Always
bro.
one person. It would have been all 50 vote. Somebody just got to be different. We voting for tight ends for rookie of the year for real.
Come on, stop, man.
Man,
Yeah,
He
even as a
just,
Georgia Bulldog fan, that made zero sense, bro. Jayden had the best rookie season, arguably all of sports.
bro.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop.
His
We gotta
reasoning was
stop.
because of the supporting cast, and all his reasons supported Jayden. Like Jayden had Terry and number 3s and 4s at wide receiver. He had rookie left tackle. Cornelius Lucas was out. Andrew Wiley missed games. Biotish missed games. Like Cosme went out for the season. Like we had a bunch of injuries on the defense. Was one of the defense was a bottom 15 defense. Like every argument that Sam Monson made for Brock Bowers, you could have argued it for Jayden Daniels.
That's why our analytics guy is better. Our analytics guy Rico is better.
That's right.
Sam Monson ain't
Appreciate
it,
that.
man. You can keep your pie chart analytics. You're wrong. You can't make that make sense.
Just tell me you're a Bears fan without telling me you're a Bears fan. Just tell me you're a Bears fan without telling me you're a Bears fan. That's all. It's okay. Just tell me.
Bear-like tactics there, man.
Clearly, it was like, hey, we go get our lick back somehow, right? Stephen Dent, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Stephen writes, has anyone seen a Brashad Smith's tape? Straight fire. I haven't watched
That's the SMU running back, right?
Yeah. I haven't watched anybody's tape.
He's fast as hell. He gives me third down back, but he's nice though. He's nice. I'm
gonna dive in here, man. I've been running, bro. I've been running a 4-4 away from college.
I can't give you the full bio on him, but I think that next super chat I could give you. Me and Rico could talk all day about this next.
Yeah, let's get to it then. Nathan Cashwell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Nathan writes, I hope we draft Hampton from UNC.
Hey, Rico, go ahead first, man.
Man, I feel like off rip, man. I felt like I had to do the honors with my very first mock draft for the Commanders since we drafted Jayden Daniels. I had to put Amarion Hampton in, just off of respect, just a salute. Like, this is the dream case scenario pick, man. Honestly, though, I ain't gonna lie. Rio, you've been on him even more longer than I have. I got to give you your flowers there. That guy is different, bro. He literally can do everything. I think he would be talked about in such way higher regard if Aston Genty just didn't exist. Like, people would be talking about him like they almost talk about Aston Genty right now if there wasn't an Aston Genty. They can make it into the, the playoffs and show you more of what he could do and everything like that. I mean, he's the complete package. Like, what honestly can he not do? I feel like the only true weakness he has, and he technically kind of has some breakaway speed. He
That's
would give
it
us
right
more
there.
than what we have.
That's it.
He would give us more than what we have, but it's not like true guaranteed 80-yard touchdown run. He might get caught at like the 20 or the 10 or something like that. But everything else, pass protection, that's one of my number one things I'm looking for in a running back, to make sure that Jayden Daniels is safe. He's our number one asset. Everything you do when it comes to getting this team better is how does it help Jayden Daniels directly? And his pass protection, A1. I'm gonna let Rio talk about all of the fun running back stuff, all of the, because again, you on him before I was, so I'm gonna let you have the fun, man. You deserve it.
Me and my boy Jalen have been doing this in the chat for like months now. Like, I almost popped off the other day when I went live because our fans was like, nah, he just like B-Rod. Almost threw the headset and threw the computer off the table. There is nothing about Omarion Hampton that is like Brian Robinson Jr. I swear to you, this is probably the best. He's the best all-around running back in this class. He does everything well. He's fast enough to hit a home run at times. He's going to get a couple. He can run past defenders. This is not some slow power back. His athleticism falls somewhere between Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb. If you don't want Joe Mixon or Nick Chubb, anytime 1,000-yard, 1,200-yard back who could give you a few hundred yards through the air, he has soft, natural hands. He has amazing vision, and he turns nothing into something. He just looks like he was spit out the womb to be an NFL running back, bro. He does everything well. We're over here talking about Ashton Genty. He had 1,516 touchdowns the season before, and he followed it up with 1,616 touchdowns the year after. Had 200 to 300 receiving yards both years. This is the most natural, gifted running back in the class. If you're discriminating because he's not going to run a 4.2 or a 4.3, I suggest you to pop on the tape. this dude is one of those ones. He's going to run for 1,200 every year for somebody.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, just to add to that, I feel like the best way to describe him is if you're doing one of those things where you like build a running back and whose hands would you pick, whose contact balance would you pick, whose vision you would pick. He's like literally that. And just to add to it, 73% of his yards this past season came after contact. So on a bad team that knew that he was the only source of offense, he still found a way to get all of those yards because 73% of his yards came after contact. He ran for over 1,000 yards after contact each of the last 2 seasons with Drake May and without Drake May. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I think what's going to ultimately hurt him, but might help us because, again, he should be available, is Bijan Robinson, right? Because a lot of the skill sets that y'all talk about he possessed that Bijan possessed. And the knock on Bijan was he didn't have like true game-changing speed. And the knock on Bijan right now is he don't hit the home run, right? Bijan will break you off, get that dope-ass 12-yard run. Bijan will hit you for a 27-yard run. But how many times have you seen Bijan go for 57 and a touchdown?
Yeah, that boy Bijan had like 1,800 all-purpose last year. I would sign up for that 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. If Bijan ain't good enough for y'all, I don't know what is, bro.
I ain't got it for you.
If Bijan and Omarion Hampton remind you of Brian Robinson Jr., bless your heart.
May the congregation say amen.
No, Rio, he's like B-Rob. No. He's not.
Beloved Rain 44. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, what up, Kangs? Says, what do you guys think about getting Greenlaw from the 49ers?
I mean, obvious AP connection. I'd take the flyer on. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be like a super cheap 1-year deal like Jeremy Chin was, but I think you may be able to get him for before injury cheaper than what you would have expected. And I think even from the little bit he played this last year, you could tell that he still has it in him because he played really well. And then they like sat him. Like they were like, no, we need you. So I also don't think he's going to hit the market because I believe they literally sat him like, we're going to need you for next year. This season's cooked. You still look really good. So they're probably going to try to re-sign him. But I would, if he's somehow available and we can go get him, I feel like he's one of your star linebackers of the future. I'm not worried about that injury at all because the little bit that we saw of him, he looked to be right back to where he was.
So he played in 2 games. What was the injury? Was it an Achilles or something like that?
In the Super Bowl.
It was in the Super Bowl. Yeah, terrible.
He was running onto the field. That was the wildest.
Yeah, it was
wow.
Yeah, not even a football play.
Right.
So yeah, no, I mean, I welcome him here. I mean, of course, the Adam Peters connection. I just know, adding him to the room with Bobby and Frankie. We'll see how the rotation would go, him and Jordan McGee. But you can never have enough talent on the roster, especially the linebacker position. We need some sideline to sideline speed. So I wouldn't mind him coming here. I don't think the contract would be crazy either because of the Achilles injury. If he would have stayed healthy last year, or the year before, then yeah, it probably would have been a crazy contract.
Yeah. Once again, it's him or Bobby.
Yeah, it can't be both.
You're not getting both. Right.
Yeah.
So you got to pick and you got to decide what you want to do. If you want Bobby back, if you're team Bobby, then which I told you, I think they believe in Jordan McGee. Like they really think like Adam Peters is like batting 750 in like 5th round or later linebackers. He doesn't miss.
That's what he do.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And so I think he feels like I got another one here. He just got to stay healthy. So I don't think they're punting on him. Yeah, we did. We did.
The 9.80 something relative athletic score, all that. Yeah. The next gen stats, most athletic linebacker.
He was out there with the ones, a bunch of camp. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's when he got hurt against the Jets. He was out there with the ones. So, in the limited,
wasn't it Frankie Louvu that was talking like a crazy about him too? Like, hey, this guy here. I think it was during training camp. Frankie Louvu was hyping him up.
Everybody was.
What would be y'all's confidence level if they said Jordan McGee is going to start at Mike next to Frankie Louvu, and we're not going to spend anything expensive at the linebacker position? How would y'all feel?
I mean, I'm just like, they must have seen something. I'm just going to give them benefit of the doubt. Something must have, like, they saw something behind the scenes.
I'd be nervous. I ain't going to front, but
very.
Yeah, I'd be nervous, but I do think he's super talented.
Mhm.
But so that would be scary just off the strength of his injuries, right? Like, can we trust him to stay healthy? We don't know that yet. And then you would go off of play, but he's so athletic and he attacks the line of scrimmage. I wouldn't be as concerned from that standpoint. They said he conducts himself like a veteran. Bobby showed him how to watch film this past year, so I would be nervous. I'm not gonna hold you, but I would also be excited to see what he would do because I just want to get faster on defense, man. Bobby's awesome, but Bobby ain't. Bobby don't have the wheels no more. Like what you lose in that, you get in smarts and getting guys lined up correctly, calling out plays, and being a physical enforcer in there. When he does get to the ball carrier, he ain't missing very often. But I mean, that's part of the reason why them edge runs work against us, because Bobby can't get out there, right? So, yeah.
What an endorsement that would be, though. Oh my God. It would put everybody at unease. But what if they said this is our Mike linebacker? Him and Louvu got it, fam.
Yo, that would be
Something happened.
wild.
Something
That would be
happened
wild.
behind the scenes. Something in a practice, he looked like all the
They
family.
already said that, but they've been telling us that. Like,
That boy been watching film with flying colors, bro.
yo,
Like
that would be wild if they did that. It would be. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, William writes, I've been banging the table for DK. We need that type of wide receiver on this team. Him and Garrett would change this team's trajectory to stratospheric levels. Look, man, you go get those two guys, and it ain't no way you can't tell us that we ain't about to go to the chip, right? We would be talking all kinds of reckless at that point. We wouldn't know how to contain ourselves. And I don't know. So while we're here, have y'all seen the odds for us to go to the championship game and to the Super Bowl? Win the Super Bowl and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, we what, 7th?
7th, correct.
Yeah, we're 6 in the early power rankings too.
6 in the power
And
rankings.
that all over the board. I've seen us no farther than 6th or 7th in the power ranking.
Last time, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this could easily end up 2 or 3 if you get some crazy, moves done.
Yeah, when that Garrett trade hit, woo!
Talk about it, Rio.
Give me the Miles Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson.
One of the Garretts. One of the Garretts.
Hey, welcome the Garretts to Washington. That would change everything, bro. The trajectory would be off the charts, and I just looking at where we are now, before, like, bare bones, before we do anything. Do you realize that our roster ain't shit right now? Right?
And we're 6 players to play.
We're 6. Do you know what that's based off of?
Quarterback.
Jayden.
Oh my God, doesn't it feel good to say?
Purely Jayden.
We got the one, y'all.
Jayden.
We got the one, y'all.
What? Unbelievable. William, if we got that, it would be crazy, bro. Devon Cash, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you once again, man. Really appreciate you, Devon, man. Big shout out to Devon for blessing us. He says, last one, I swear. Hey, you don't gotta swear, bro.
You don't gotta do it.
He says, I have to say, yo, with all these Bears fans coming to attack us, they've been saying, oh, Ben Johnson is going to show why he's better. Like, they are so hurt, bro. I've never seen a non-rival react the way that Bears fans have reacted this year. It's just insane. And we had smoke for Ben, right? But we settled that score already, right?
We did.
We got our lick back. I don't give a damn about Ben Johnson anymore. We did what we set out to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now they're gonna use that, and they're gonna still hurt about Caleb. Like, they want him to be better than Jayden so bad. Derek B had got into it with a Patriots fan that was trying to tell us that their guy was better than our guy. And I'm like, Derek, why did you even entertain that, bro?
When did they say that? Did they say that was season started? Or is that recent?
Yeah, I've heard him say stuff like that recently.
No, that was recent. Like, Derek B got into a spat with a dude like maybe a day or 2 ago. And he DM'd me the the back and forth between him and the dude, and I'm like, bro, why did you even?
Yeah, you can't entertain nonsense.
Come on now.
What
Like,
was the point that he even brought to the table for you to even
bro,
respond back?
this man was he showed clips of Jayden versus Detroit. Like he had it like clipped up, sped up, and then he showed clips of Drake May versus the Jacksonville Jaguars over in London.
Yeah, the worst defense in the NFL.
and Derek was like, bro, you showed clips of my quarterback slaying the number 1 seed on the road in the playoff game. And you showed a clip of your quarterback losing by double digits to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're losers, bro. These guys are losers.
What are you talking about?
Like,
I said, Derek, why are you even doing this? Why are you even entertaining this, bro?
They're losers, bro.
Bears fans are crazy, though, man. It's just wild. But we ethered them last year, right? Like that was the equivalent of ether. Like we don't even need to talk to y'all anymore. Like I don't even entertain them no more. You're dead, bro.
We ended the season.
We ended your season. We got you a new coach. You should be thanking us. We got you, Ben Johnson. You should be. We got him out of the playoffs so you could get him, right? We got your coach fight. Like you should be thanking us. We did you a solid. And here you are, ungrateful. Shame. The nerve of these Bear peasant fans. Q Dog.
Bless them.
Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Q Dog writes, other than the Hail Mary, what was everyone's favorite moment of the regular season? Ah, that's a great one.
Bengals game. That whole game was a damn moment. That whole game was our coming out party to this league that we are not Dan Snyder's Washington anymore.
Wow. I got a video for y'all. I'm going to play it. So you said the Bengals game. I'm going to play the clip from that game. I just got to find it.
That game was like living on a high for 3 hours because we scored every time we touched the ball.
The only nervousness I had was that, is this like real? You know what I'm saying? That was the only worry, stress I had.
We come from a week where we didn't punt it or turn it over, but we scored all field goals, and we score every time we touch the ball on Monday Night Football in the jungle.
Bro.
It was the Cam Taylor-Britt college.
Everybody watching.
Bro.
Everybody watching.
We shocked the whole world that day.
Oh, I think I got rid of it.
Literally, that was like a perfect night, other than I'm just worried. Is this real? Like, is this what we're going to do from now on? Or is this just a 1 week thing and then we're going to end up winning 5-6 games? That was my only. Other than that, that was a beautiful night.
You're waiting.
He took that hit and launched it to Terry. Stood in the pocket.
The only possible place you could throw the football while taking a hit on third down, rushing, and everybody didn't even get to play in the huddle.
Right. That was a part that was wild. I think the part that was the wildest about that
telling fans to go home. Like, whoa, who is this guy?
Yeah. That's not normal. That's not how that's supposed to go.
You had to win that game scoring. You had to put up 38 to win.
Yeah, because remember that, like what I kind of explained earlier about who had any confidence the defense was going to stop Joe Burrow and them from not only scoring, but going for 2, because they would have had to go for 2. They were down 8. He was going to score. They were going to get the 2-point conversion if we would have had to settle for a field goal, and they would have beat us in overtime.
I mean, you could already feel it early. That first Bengals drive was an easy touchdown.
Oh,
like,
man.
So quick and easy. I was like, oh, yeah, boy. Offense going to have to carry this one.
And they knew it, and that's why he went for it on 4th down. Like that was almost him setting the tone for the season, because we really hadn't started that 4th down shit yet. That was the night where we really solidified, hey, we about that life. If we got to do it, we can do it. We about that life. Let me see if I can pull up some of this audio.
And here we go, Daryl Johnston, the first moments of Jayden Daniels' NFL career in the regular season.
I am really excited.
Let me see if I can get y'all. So the Bengals.
Right foot.
Get some of this Bengals real quick for y'all.
We might have had the greatest run of calls in a season.
You could go for it, you could punt it, or try a long field goal, and they're going to go.
Yeah, they're going to go. And this is outside of Austin Seibert's range.
Pass is caught for the first down. It's Ertz again.
What a night for Jayden Daniels. 9 yards on 4th and 4 to keep the drive alive.
Everybody was waiting for us to mess this up, too.
It was 2nd and 20.
Yep.
And the Commanders overcame it. It was a struggle in the red zone against the Giants, but 7 field goals and a win tonight. Different story, and here they are up by 5, facing 3rd and 7.
Yeah, and there's some confusion going on in the huddle right now. I mean, they're not getting the personnel that they want. They're up against the clock, not what you want. Jayden Daniels just has to know that he cannot take a sack. They can't get McCaffrey. They've only got 10 guys on the field.
10 guys.
7. This one is launched from McLaurin. He's got it.
Touchdown!
Touchdown!
Oh, I get chills.
Every time.
Touchdown, Terry McLaurin.
That boy can make a call.
Yo, this is my favorite. This is my favorite call of the season. It just sucks because we didn't win the game.
Lightning strikes twice in Washington.
Yeah, that's my favorite call of the season.
Gosh! 86 yards.
This is my favorite call of the season, bro. And it sucks that we don't.
Half a minute, no timeouts. Daniels throws down the sideline for Terry McLaurin.
McLaurin
is loose. Lightning strikes twice in Washington.
Oh, man, good time.
Oh, man, good times.
Until Austin Cyber came
up. And you know, it was crazy because everybody killed him after the game, and he apologized. But first of all, I love Joe Davis. Joe Davis is the best.
He is
he had 2 of our best calls this season.
Mm-hmm.
Preposterous.
Let's get that one.
Let's get that one before we get out of here. Let's get the preposterous.
Falling behind early. 10 seconds. 10 seconds, no timeouts. Ball at the 9.
No matter what, and of course, it goes without saying, you cannot take a sack.
McLaurin to the bottom of the screen. 2nd and goal. 10 seconds. Daniels fires. End zone. Touchdown. Jamison Crowder. Preposterous. 5 turnovers and the lead with seconds remaining.
Take me back, man.
Good times, man. Good times. I could do that all night, man. What a season it was. That was my that call. Like my favorite moment was the moment I realized we was going to NFC Championship game. Like beating Tampa was huge, but beating Detroit was
that's
great.
it. You're right.
You know, knowing that we going to the NFC Championship game, I couldn't sleep. Like I did a stream. Rio, I think Rio did about a 12-hour stream.
Yep. Went to 4 a.m. 12-hour stream, man. That was the best moment of my life.
Like, bro, it was insane. I did 8 on one stream, got off, did another like 3 on another stream. It was insane, bro. My son, he was running around the house, so he just starting to learn their names now, right? So he's like, Dad, I know who my favorite player is. It's Jayden Daniels. I'm like, oh, that's what's up, man. He was running around the house talking about some McLaurin. He did the Dallas that call from Joe Davis just right there, like McLaurin down the sideline. That was so dope, bro, because there's no way. 86 yards?
Yeah, man.
There's no way.
Jayden making people believe it. My son a diehard now. My son did not care about football a couple years ago. My son arguing with people to death. My son watching the 55-minute Jayden highlight tape. It makes me feel so good, bro.
Hey, I still go back to that headlock, bro. You was trying to put this man down permanently with that vice grip you put on that man. I said, damn, Rio, let him go. Yes, no, he won. I was like, Rio, let him go.
That joy had me dying because the next day, why his PE teacher DM'd me and was like, yo, your son's in my class. I was like, hey, I didn't know his dad was Rio. It's a small world.
Yeah. That's crazy right there, man. That's wild, but it brought a smile to your face, man. It brought a smile to your face. That's crazy.
Jayden is the one, man. He's the chosen one. We are blessed to have him.
We are.
Regular season for me is the Falcons game because I was there too for that.
Yeah, we was in
both
there.
y'all
there
for that. And
all right, well, let's do that one
legacy?
then. Let's do the Falcons one then. Let's do that one then.
Playoff.
Daniels pumping, looking to take off. Daniels on the run at the 5. Stiff arm. Daniels down at the 2.
Oh, that's when he got the Sonic rings knocked out.
It is Jayden Daniels end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. Zach Ertz takes Washington into the playoffs.
Oh, let's go.
And you've got Washington and the Rams in the playoffs.
16, late pressure, floats it. It is caught by Ertz, past the sticks. Clock is moving. They have to spike it. They get the spike, and now, I don't know, it's a tougher decision now.
Yeah, it's one shot. You're basically going to throw.
I hate Mark Sanchez. No, I don't hate Sanchez. I don't like Mark Sanchez. Dirty Ches gets on my nerves.
Yeah,
I heard he was hating on us throughout. Like
He was. Oh man, it was bad. That second Giants game. Oh my God, it was awful. I was like, what is he talking about? What is he doing here? You could tell he was actively rooting for the Giants in that game. You could tell he wasn't even trying to hide it. Like,
yeah,
bro,
it's so weird because we gave him a chance. We gave him an opportunity a couple years ago.
it must have been really bad. His experience here must have been really bad. And he played for the Jets for a number of years too. So, but still, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here? Get your life together.
Yeah,
anyway,
for me, obviously, I mean, Falcons just. I had my Falcons friends, several of them too, telling me that you saw Michael Penix that one game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all got Jayden Daniels, but we got Michael Penix. So to be able to beat them, and especially the way that we did, where they don't even see the ball in overtime, just crush their hearts and everything. So it had to be regular season wise Falcons for me. Just off of, I get a whole nother year of trash talking with like half my friend group.
That's right. Gotta keep that intact.
Got to.
And we see them again. It's like we can't get away from them bastards. Now we got them again this year, bro. Like they won't let you hold it. They won't let you hold it for a little while. They like, you got to do it again. You got to do it again, Rico.
When we sucked, we played them once every 4 years, so they would have 4 years of trash talk over me. Now that we good, we got to keep proving ourselves. But I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. Now that we got Jayden, we play them every year.
That's
right.
Right.
Keep the streak alive. We're 2-0 against them, right? Because we beat them with Ritter, so we got the streak going.
Yeah.
It's 3 because we had Mariota before that.
J.D. McKissick too. J.D. McKissick.
Those guys was 4.
Oh yeah, 2021. We go back to 2021.
Yeah.
We like 4 now.
Then we beat them when they had Mariota. Then we beat them when Jalen had 2 picks. What did he have?
Yeah.
I know he had 1 for sure at the end.
With the Bijan Robinson, and then this year,
and
that's
then 4 in a row. 4 in a row. They just make you keep doing it every year. That's all.
Yeah.
Haval, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, "Hey Ed, if you had to form the starting 5 for the Wizards, only using Commanders players, who'd they be, and who'd be the main 6 man off the bench?"
That's a good question.
They might be better than the actual Wizards.
Give me Jayden. Obviously, he probably run point.
Run the one.
He would set everybody up.
I say the way he be talking.
He really talks like he's really. I love his confidence, bro.
Like he him.
I gotta see it.
Yeah,
He
like he a hooper. He act like he a hooper for real.
I wonder what he looked like versus Cooper DeJean on the court.
Right. No, he brings the basketball up all the time too for the games.
Mm-hmm.
Man, who's a hooper on a team like that?
Bobby Wagner at the 4.
Bobby, yeah, he be that.
He a small.
No, Bobby's
small.
like 6 feet though. Yeah. We playing small ball then. We doing some Golden State.
He can hoop though. Bobby can hoop though.
He be the Draymond Green of the team.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, undersized. I don't know why I feel like Noah could actually hoop because he was our tallest receiver. So I would actually put Noah on the team. So that's
Diami
3.
can hoop.
Diami. I put Diami out there. Trying to think who else.
Oh, Brandon Coleman used to hoop.
Okay, yeah, we need somebody with some size. Well, he's like 6'5". So we need a big man.
He used to hoop. He was a big hooper. He just started playing football 6 years ago because he was a basketball player.
We have him setting screens for Jayden all day, pick and roll, kick it out to Diami. So that would be our starting 5. They probably off the bench. Give me Mike. I don't know why I feel like Mikey can hoop. I feel like Mikey.
Stanger?
Yeah, Stanger. I have a feeling like he can hoop. Like he can. He's real shifty out there. He can get to the basket, get to the free throw line. I don't know why I feel like he's
he does seem 5'10". He seemed like one of them guys that pick up that can like hoop real well. And then maybe not like an NBA game, but like pick up, go crazy.
I'm trying to think. It's gotta be somebody.
Gives me vibes like he plays football. He plays basketball like a football player, and I used to hate that.
Yeah, no, those are the worst dudes to play against.
Worst, the
The worst dudes to
As
play
a
against.
football player, like I didn't play basketball like a football player. I used to hate when my teammates used to come to open gym with me, bro. We used to all get typecast. Like I don't play like them, bro. Don't put that on me.
Bro, that's the worst type of dude to play against because
So aggressive.
he don't care about nothing. He don't care about bodily harm, none of that, bro. Like,
no finesse.
Bro.
He out there like a wrestler.
Either they on my team or I'm not playing, bro. Like you're not gonna, like because you run the risk of losing a tooth going to the cup against a football player, bro. And them elbows be swinging when they dribble. Bow, you catch a nice little elbow, bro. I'm good. I'm gonna pass on that. Reek, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Reek. Right. So my favorite was when our kicker kept rubbing his hair, had me nervous. It's the Tampa Bay game in the playoffs, man.
The doink.
Yeah, hey, let's get that one then.
To the outside.
Let's get that one. Let's get that.
Daniels.
So this one long though.
End zone touchdown. Washington takes the lead with Terry McLaurin. And third and about a half dozen coming up for Washington. Have to get to the 40-yard line.
Double spy.
Never seen a double spot. Never seen a double spot.
Nasty work.
Green just 3. Daniels throwing in the middle. It's caught for the first down. What a night it has been for De'Ami Brown to the 45-yard line. A gain of 21. The best night of his career.
Double spy on that play. How much were they worried about Jayden
Double
Daniels?
spy.
Watch this. 2 players in here to simply play Jayden Daniels in case he runs the football. That's the power of a player like Jayden Daniels.
Washington maybe 10 or 12 yards from the Gonzalez field goal range. Buccaneers full bucket of timeouts. 2nd and 10 for Daniels. The rookie will flip it out over De'Ami and caught by Eckler into field goal range. Eckler to the 27-yard line.
You can see all these plays in your head, right?
So close to
Vividly.
De'Ami, but it's a gain of 18.
detail.
Well, Joe Flacco,
Many times
Mark
not
Sanchez, Russell Wilson are the 3 rookies who have won a road playoff game in the NFL, and 2 of them, Flacco and Sanchez, did it a couple of times in their rookie year. But you see a little bit why Daniels, the talent, but the poise. 55 college starts, big-time games, moment not too big for him, and it's a massive moment. 30 yard.
In the pistol formation.
Ryan Robinson behind, a fake to him. Daniels escapes and runs for the first down. Elijah Cansey, all he could do was grab a towel. He couldn't grab Daniels. Washington can bleed the clock, kick a field goal, and win the game. From 37 to send Washington to the final 8. The Washington Commanders off the upright, and it is.
That's what was so loud.
They doink their way to the divisional round. Unbelievable!
I have seen it all now. I even get a divisional doink. I feel like every time I see a game-winning field goal, it's hitting an upright.
That jank was so loud. I didn't realize how loud it went. Bong! Because he was expecting him to make the kick, right? And then it hits that upright, and it's like time stop, bro. Like DQ described it, like that bounty commercial, bro. It was literally like that. So wow. Icy Wayne, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Icy Wayne says, was at that Falcons game, one of my favorites ever. By the way, let them know again, Rio, Myles Garrett is a Washington Commander. Higgins is a Washington Commander. T. Higgins is a Washington Commander. Hashtag speak it into existence. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all, man. Go ahead, talk y'all talk, man. Go ahead and talk y'all talk, man. I'm a big believer in speaking things into existence, but
I'm trying.
I'm not gonna have the battery put in my back. Just know that. Icy Wade, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, hey Lou, leave my Wizards alone. Cooper Flagg is a Washington Wizard. You know, me and my buddy was talking about this the other day.
We're in good hands.
The thing that sucks about the NBA is it don't matter how bad you are. You're not guaranteed anything. right? You can have the worst record in basketball and end up with the 5th pick in the draft.
Yeah, 5th will be bad, I see Wayne, but what I would say is Ace Bailey's really good and Ron Harper's really good. So I think we're gonna be top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I'm about to say this is a draft where you can get a good player even if you don't get the like. This reminds me of that KD draft, right? Where you might not get the number 1 pick, but you still got a chance to get a really good player. Or even we thought that Zion was gonna be really good, but Ja went 2 in that draft. But you don't want to fall too far after 3. Like you don't want to get, too far back because you need, like in the NBA, you need a transformative star to have a shot. You can't just have a guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You need one of them dudes. You need a top 20, you need a top 15 player, and then you need a top 30 player to complement that top 15 player.
Yep.
To have a chance in the NBA. Anyway, Icy Wayne, you got a long way to go, brother. Just keep your head up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too much, just talk too much. But yeah, we look better after the trades, though. They made some good trades. Thank you for Marcus Smart.
You're welcome. I thank you for taking him off our hands. I know we had to attach a 1st-round pick, but
we'll take the first.
Yeah, we needed to get that $22 million off the books. So I appreciate y'all doing business with us. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us. We really appreciate y'all kicking it with us, man. Again, we know the timing of this one wasn't necessarily ideal, but shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to the Kangs for making it work, man. Everybody's schedule was all over the place this week, but we were able to carve out the time to do it, man, and bring this content to your doorstep. So shout out to the Kangs, but shout out to the over 600 of y'all that's been holding us down pretty steady for this whole 2 hours and 20 minutes, man. Really appreciate each and every single one of y'all for blessing us. We gonna see y'all next week, and I guess that's the last week prior to the combine. So I guess we're getting close to the combine and those festivities. And I guess I got to start my draft content. Golly, I've been running, but I can't run no more, man. We got to start. Y'all keep asking draft questions. I don't know who any of these guys are, so I gotta
lie. It's a little difficult to do mock drafts now. It's because I feel like you gotta include some free agency in it. Yeah. Now, like in previous years, we could just do straight draft and you're good. But now that we're a free agency destination, we have so many things that we feel like we need to fix to be like Super Bowl contenders. I feel like I'm almost gonna have to include free agency in all of my mock drafts at this point. It's weird.
I literally saw Rio's tweet where he said, "Man, I don't even want to do my mock drafts. Ain't even fun this year.
It's not the move when you pick it at 29. It's like we got bigger fish to fry. Just let it come to us. Let the board speak to us at this point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
We don't even know what a board is possibly gonna look like where we're picking. So it's like, what do we?
There is a realistic opportunity that we don't even make a 1st-round pick.
Right? Yeah, it could be
very realistic.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's
trade away for a player, trade back. Yeah,
So it's just wild, but these are good problems to have, right? This is what you want. Like we want 32 actually.
It's a privilege.
So anyway, anything else y'all got before we get out of here?
Let's get it, man.
All right,
cool, man. We back at it next week. I can't wait till we get to March or like late February so we can actually have some new things to talk about. But hey, trades can be agreed in principle. So, when the Browns come around to acceptance, we can start having us a time.
I love it. I love it. Well, with that said, y'all know what it is. We appreciate y'all for joining us. If you're going to come at these Kangs, you best not miss. Until next time, I'm your man, Louie Tee, signing off for Rio, Rico, and Ed. We are the Commander Kangs, and we are out.
Yes, sir.
Peace.